Hello and welcome to DCP Live episode number 192, a ultra spicy 3 years laid out for us in the future of Destiny edition.
We got 3 years of news to go through, guys. I hope you're prepared.
Prepared for a week-long episode. We're doing
right. Before we talk about what's gonna happen in Destiny, should we talk about what just happened in Destiny?
Oh, of course.
Yes.
Last week we got a pretty big event. It was the first live event in Destiny, which was the Almighty kind of getting blown up by Rasputin, and then the remnants of it crashing to Earth, which took about an hour and a half, and it was a pretty cool event. But I think the main complaint from players was it took an hour and a half.
Yeah.
Like the last part of it was awesome. I love that I was in the tower with other people. We were all doing the war mind emote to stand your ground. Don't be fearful. So that was really fun. I love experiencing events with people. The end of it was awesome, seeing the Almighty go all the way past the tower and crash off the screen and the big flash of light. But yeah, it either needs to be shorter, or there's a couple of suggestions that I've seen that I like. Just be shorter is easy. Let people know how long it's gonna be so they can plan accordingly. Or say, hey, this is when the Almighty is actually gonna this is when the event is going to happen. And then without saying anything, you could kind of do the other stuff beforehand as just a little surprise. So if you're in the tower before the Almighty thing happens, you'll see some stuff happening, but the time that they give is the time that something actually happens.
How do you guys feel about it being a one-time deal where you have to be there in the tower for to see it?
I'm okay with it, considering the amount of YouTube that's available. To be honest with you, you could easily watch the whole thing happen afterward on YouTube in about 5 minutes and probably get a better overall experience. Although I will say that being live watching it and being on Twitter while live watching it was amazing. Twitter was.
Yeah. I don't know, because there's a lot of people that would love to see that stuff in game and have their own viewpoint, their own angle and all that. And you're not going to be able to please everybody if you have this time right here, because there's always going to be somebody who has to get up at 4 a.m. or something, or someone who's working, or someone who has a vacation that they're in the middle of and won't be able to experience an event that I don't know how much money or time that they put into these events, but if it's significant,
a lot.
Then that's just a very small window that creates that moment for them, and then it's lost on anybody who basically can't dedicate, any time possible. I
get your point there. It sucks if you missed out. If you were at work or you have to be sleeping, it sucks that you missed out on it. But it is cool to have an event where everybody comes together and everybody in the tower is doing the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? It feels like a community event because it's live and it's happening right now.
Yeah.
If it was just happening when you logged in, that it wouldn't have that community feel to it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think you make a.
Oh no, go for it, friend.
Oh, yeah, just on what Tef said, I think he makes a really good point. But it is a live event, though, and I feel like we need those. I still have a lot that I'd want to say on the event itself, but maybe there'd be a solution of, in the same way they showed a time lapse and they kind of had a recap of it, if they could somehow do that for those who missed it, because it being real time, it's not like there was one, angle. It maybe be cool to log in and you still get a good video cutscene of it, which they could produce. If you missed it, it's kind of like you
didn't Fortnite make it so you could reload into an instance of the event that happened. They have that instance live for a day or two or something like that.
No, I've never seen that with live events.
No?
You have to be there.
Okay,
for those.
My bad.
Mm-hmm.
It's something that I wouldn't want to see be overused, right? Where it's constant things where you have to be in game, otherwise you miss it. But I think that it kind of works perfectly to say goodbye to a season and bring in a new season.
Sure.
Where it's if you can be there, then great. You get to have this cool community thing, but it's not necessarily. It's just a way of saying bye to the old season and bringing in the new one.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I've been Yeah, I was being quiet for a moment because I had to have a ton to say on it, which is like, I don't know if you guys remember, I was super excited at the potential of a Fortnite style live event coming. I think that it is the future of video games, period.
Yeah.
Being able to transform a world in front of you in that way, where it literally happens in real time. And then meanwhile, you're connected with people in that world. An example I've used is like, imagine Nintendo told you to show up, in the middle of Hyrule. And, out of nowhere, they announce the next Breath of the Wild, or do something. They crash into, the earth and plug this huge hole with red smoldering coming out of it. Like that, I think that type of thing is super exciting, and not everybody's going to make it. But then, right, we got to solve those things. But I think it's incredible. It brings the community together. It also is just so we're in the game playing it, So I always appreciate the real-time aspects versus, like, say, pure out CG. And not that I don't like real cutscenes for the right cinematic purpose, but so anyway, I feel like it was such an important step for them. So I'm just so excited that all that they've invested to get to this point is now the ship has set sail from the dock, Yeah. And for me, that is the most important thing to take away, is like, there's a lot of feedback, but if they do this again in 6 months, that'd be awesome. If we have to wait another year, okay. But I hope that we start to see this start to be woven into the fabric of what Destiny is. And all of a sudden, we're like, the next thing that might happen once they get far enough, right, is when we're out there and we're like, did you guys see that? And maybe they are able to pull off some smaller things that are just flat out real time, and you might have missed it.
Yeah.
But I'm okay with that if there's a way to balance out everything.
Nice.
Yeah.
Like, it almost seemed like a beta test of the like real-time event system, where like they showed this thing that was live, but they also did change the world in a small way. It's like, while you were in the tower, a small piece of the Almighty hit the tower, broke off a bit, just missed Eververse by this much.
Almost got your wish, Briar.
This much, right? But and then you could go to that kind of small wreckage area and get an emblem, like in real time. Like, so like the Almighty crashed, then you could walk over, inspect the area where it crashed, or where this piece of it crashed to, and get this emblem. In the future, I can imagine just being able to load right over to where the Almighty crashed, or a similar instance, and just be able to start playing. Like, it'd be a great way to introduce a new season.
Yeah.
Or season. Wow. Yeah.
That'd be amazing.
Yeah, I would love to see this be a part of just the schedule that we come to expect, that when a season ends and a new one begins, you get this kind of live event to set up the theme and hype everyone up.
Yeah. And I was going to say on the timing, I think everybody has the absolute right to be upset about, oh, you told me to load in at 10 a.m. Pacific time, and I just sat there staring at some small changes in the sky for a really long time. I think that obviously that message is received. I don't think Bungie wanted to necessarily do it that way. I bet you it was a combination of factors. I was kind of hoping they would maybe dig into it in this week's TWA, but I can see with all the news that that's like one of many things. But I think if you think about it, they actually pulled the event off well technically, and I bet you they were terrified of, we might need a buffer zone. And that was probably the buffer zone we witnessed of, like, look, we'll have these small events, and if stuff's happening, people will still have time to get in before we plan to trigger the main thing. But in the future, I think I forget who it was. Somebody at Bungie had even mentioned it. It might have been Luke on Lupo's interview or something, but he described it really well, where it's like, look, doors are at 10 a.m. Event starts at 11:25, so be in your seats by then. And if you're not, you've been warned. You got to get there early.
Yeah.
But then at least I knew what to expect, versus like I literally was staring at the sky for 85 minutes. Like I don't want to miss it. I would have like been going around the tower giving people hugs.
The worst thing though
is
there was a lot of people who got error coded out of the tower as it was happening too. And
I saw Carolina.
Like,
I think that happened.
So there's two sides of it for me. On one end, yeah, totally, it's a live event. Like, you had to be there. But if their system isn't going to support it for you to be there, for some people, because their networking just gets you kicked, then that's why I think maybe it would be good for them to have a little bit of a grace type of thing. Like, maybe it's that day you could see the event. It's like Saturday or over the weekend or something. I don't know. Like,
I think that does kind of take away from the live event community feel of it, though, and it kind of turns it more into when you load up the game, you see a cutscene as the only.
Yeah. Well, it sounds like Tef said. I mean, I kind of like the idea.
I totally get that, though.
But yeah, like imagine you could load into. They had a special tower instance that captured the event, and it only happened like every maybe 30 minutes even. But you could like go and do that. But I don't know if you were saying this, Watts. It might take away from the feeling that it is one world and a real live event. I mean, I don't know. It does.
Well,
suck
what they
to
could do
miss
is just make it
that
so you
stuff.
never get error coded, and then we're good.
Or that. I know that's not going to happen.
Oh,
You been playing this
Problem
week?
solved.
oh my God.
Yeah.
I have been playing this week, and the error codes have come hot and heavy.
I've
Especially in
been
the
really
Crucible.
lucky with error codes. Only
Are you
it's
on
only
PC
on like
this week,
launch
or are you
day.
on PlayStation?
I can't play on console anymore.
Okay.
But
Yeah, I've
I
been
will-
Such an elitist, Watts. My God.
Oh,
Yeah.
I know.
I've been trying to play Crucible just to get all the bounties done and all my power rewards and whatever, and I just constantly am getting error coded out of games.
I've
Constantly.
been really lucky. Yeah, it's just launch day was definitely rough, which I kind of expect that to happen, whether that's good or bad. But after that, I've been pretty fine with error codes. In general, I haven't suffered from error codes much. I've been lucky.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't too crazy. It was just depending on the time of day or how the servers were getting hit. With getting error
I've heard
codes,
some
yeah.
people have major issues, but overall, it's been fine for me. So
I'm having major.
it is an
issues.
issue.
I'm getting a lot of more error codes than I've ever gotten in Destiny. Like every other Crucible match, I'm getting either kicked while loading, like flying in, or during the game. Like every other Crucible match, pretty much.
I take that back. Yeah, that's right. I was trying to do some matches with other people that were suffering, like something going on with NAT type issues, where they're getting kicked. And I couldn't get into the raid. We had to like do a workaround where somebody else loaded in, and then we finally got it to work. But there was a lot of that going on that definitely needs to be fixed. So
Yeah. So that
you
was
guys want
cool.
to talk about the announcements?
Yeah. Like, I've actually already forgotten about that whole event, to be honest. When you brought it up, I was like,
reveal of the
wow, I
future of
can't believe that
Destiny.
was last week. That is nuts.
Yeah.
Because we
Well,
got
Tuesday was big.
Tuesday was massive, man. I mean, so many like bombs being
It
dropped.
was one after the other. It was
Yeah.
So first thing we heard that was crazy was, of course, Europa.
Yes.
Yep.
Confirmed. It's happening.
Craziest thing with Europa, stasis,
Mm-hmm.
which is
New
a
power
whole new
element.
new subclass.
Freezy chilly
It's,
ice.
A dark element as well that we
a
know.
dark element. Yeah, they mentioned
Darkness
this is the first time we're stepping into the dark, which is interesting because it makes me think that maybe there could be more dark elements later. And what does that look like in terms of separating light and dark elements?
Yeah, that's what I'm hoping. That's like they expand on that with the elements. Were you surprised at all that ice was also darkness or stasis, I should say?
So I think when I hear stasis, I think of crowd control in general, just like things that slow, things that freeze, things that lock things in place. So I think ice makes sense with that. And maybe we'll see even more. We'll see like slowing down time or making people be all sloppy.
Right.
But
Because they showed like
yeah.
the ice spear and like the ice hatchets,
did.
which
Yeah.
technically are not stasis. Just, a stasis thing is different from summoning ice picks. I'm just saying. But like,
Well, if every
thought
if
they
every
were
one of
more
the new
sites.
subclasses is just a slow super, like we'll slow everything down, that'll get boring quick. Like I'm hoping for variety, even though it's called stasis. I hope it's not just everything just makes other things slow.
but it very much
doesn't
looks
look
like
that.
ice.
It looks.
It does.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it
it's
does
a lot
have
of
that
ice.
look.
Yeah. Well, I thought it was
yeah.
interesting because like we've been speculating quite a bit, and like every now and then it'll be like ice subclass, and like and then people will be like darkness subclass. I never thought, not once in the entire time of the podcast, that they would actually be the same together.
Same thing.
Darkness subclass and ice merge. I'm like, whoa, why did I never think of that?
Yeah, it's funny because I saw that too, but I don't know that it's going to boil down to be ice, though. To be fair, right? We don't know.
Have you seen
what I
the
took
video?
away when I was looking, yeah.
So
and-
wait, real quick, Forcado in chat is gonna clear this up for us. Titans, warlocks, and hunters each use stasis in a different way, from slowing down foes with stasis fields to encasing and shattering enemies with destructive might.
And
So
that took the word.
that's why to me it sounds like a crowd control subclass. Like it just does some type of crowd control.
We'll see. I think we'll get damage out of it too. I was just going to say when I.
No, I know, but that's what CC is.
Yeah.
Locking
When
people
I
down.
saw it, just like ice shattering, the idea of holding something in time and it shattering, like to me that's why you got that blockiness to them. And I do see the icy effects and stuff too, but it's also got that dark burnt ashy effect too. So
Like dark ice, right?
I mean,
like
either way, yeah.
Some ice you don't want to drive your car on.
Deft is like all in on.
Well,
the
they
ice.
show they summon.
get it.
There's like spear that gets summoned, and there's the scythe hatchet type of thing that you were saying.
Yeah,
So, yeah.
And
I
even
mean-
more interestingly, this is going to be like D1 type subclass paths. So
Yeah,
you're
I
going to
would
be
say-
able to choose.
That's huge.
And this is kind of like a test to see how it goes and how it feels with balancing and all of that.
So I heard that. Yeah, that was a quote from the Lupo interview, but it didn't say
Correct,
like D1 in the past. Did that get said anywhere else, Watts? Or are you speculating? He said you were going to be able to experiment and like I don't know if the word was customize, but there'd be more to it.
I guess maybe
Right.
it's just we're saying more like D1 than D2.
Yeah, I walked away
Yeah,
from the
I took
interview
that away
thinking,
personally.
I felt like he was insinuating D1 level of customization, and then he did confirm that, like, I think he confirmed anyways that the current ones that we have right now are not going to get revamped for that customization.
That's
Not yet.
Yeah, not yet.
We're gonna see how it goes.
Yeah,
Not
because
yet,
the
yeah.
test run, and I'm okay with that. Like if they're going to give us 3 new subclasses, then right? That's how. Yeah.
Right.
Yep.
Yeah. So we're gonna have 4 total per character. So 3 new subclasses to work with a lot of customization, and it also adds a new element into the weapon system, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, which is huge. We needed this so bad because, like we've said many
Yep.
times before, you can add new content, but if the sandbox isn't switched up, it's not going to feel fresh. And this switches up everything.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, I'm glad you
Wholeheartedly.
brought that up, Watts, because I was going to say the being able to experiment with the deeper or whatever, hopefully new subclass style. I think that's the thing that excited me the most, and it wasn't even in
Same.
the reveal. It was something that Luke said after in an interview, and that's the one I walked away. I'm like, yeah, not just 3 more trees that work like they do today, but like something more RPG-ified. Maybe more like D1 was I was picturing as well, but
Yeah.
but hopefully different than that too.
I didn't even think
So I'm
about it with the
super excited.
trees that we have. Technically we have 2 or sometimes 3. I think it's just 2 actually per subclass of those supers. You guys think it's just going to be one super with a lot of different customization with them revamping that with the stasis class?
I
Yeah.
would think initially with
Yeah.
maybe room to add something different.
Because I guess
I
that
would
is how
expect
D1
that,
was,
too.
right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like you chose.
Yeah, I would expect
Fist
one
of Havoc,
super
and
as
you
well.
could like spec it however you want. Yeah, it makes me very excited. I really hope that the sandbox with elementals starts taking shape more towards RPG aspects as well with the beginning of stasis.
Wow.
Like
I think
I hope the legendary weapons that have stasis element aren't just colored bullets.
we've seen the beginning of that with the Twilight Trinity Ghoul Catalyst.
Yeah,
I think we've seen the beginning of that with that catalyst. It's going to a place with Destiny that I would like to see them do even more. Because now
That gun
it went
is- or
from
it's so good now.
meh to like the best PvE weapon.
yeah.
I didn't get the catalyst yet. What's it do exactly?
Yeah, what's it do?
So the catalyst, it makes it to where lightning rod, which I'll explain lightning rod in a second, it makes lightning rod proc on any arc kills. So your melee, your grenade,
Whoa.
it procs lightning rod. And lightning rod
Whoa.
also lightning rod procs lightning rod. So if you can just keep it going constantly and you're making massive amounts of orbs, you don't even have to aim the thing at something. You just have to keep shooting the ground. It just explodes everything.
Sounds powerful.
And
Yeah.
that feels
Sounds like
It's
very,
very
power.
powerful.
yeah. It's
crazy
it's one of
pants
the
good.
most fun I have had in PvE.
Some
It's
crazy pants bow action.
It's some crazy good times.
Yeah, I got it to drop. Is it basically just dropping at a super high rate now from strikes? Is that
A mind
It's
dropping.
everywhere.
Catalyst
I
It's
think, yeah.
Crucible,
everywhere.
Crucible.
Bow
it was
Ghost.
like a
itself.
freebie catalyst, right?
It's a freebie catalyst.
Yeah.
The bow itself is still pretty rare, right?
Is it?
Yeah, because
I
that's a
believe
random
so.
drop. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sure. Yeah.
But
yeah.
the catalyst seems to be a pretty frequent
Yeah.
drop.
So Watts,
Any,
yeah, I agree. Them moving that in that direction, although they have done that stuff in the past with exotics. I'm hoping that the base element starts gaining some properties. Like solar creating damage over time, or dots on damage, or like a build up type of meter that happens on proccing a dot. And the same type of thing with stasis. I'd love it if enough bullets hit and causes a stasis slowdown with just the elemental. I'd love to see that type of thing. Ooh, I didn't even think about it. Grenades, new grenade types. are coming with stasis, right?
Totally.
Yeah.
You kind of stasis smoke, maybe.
So we got the new
that.
season, right? It's like the new season dropped. They talked a little bit about it.
It arrived.
But
Yeah, they arrived.
Season of the arrival.
They're here.
It's not really like too fleshed out as far as like what we're gonna get over the season. It seems like to me, watching the announcement, it seemed like, okay, season of arrival's happening, but really let's focus on what's happening in fall and what's happening in the oncoming years.
Absolutely.
You're gonna get a dungeon this year, or you're gonna get a dungeon this season. Here's some cool stuff that's happening. But I gotta say, some of the changes they made this season after playing it for a few days have been really good.
Yes.
The new engrams that you do with the drifter. Can anybody remember off the top of their head what they're?
Umbral.
Holy smokes! I love this engram system.
It's amazing.
It's game-wide menagerie.
Yeah,
I love it.
Like you get to play anyhow you want to play. Get these engrams, and then you can go into the drifters, like little whatever it's called, and actually change the engram to be exactly what you want to get, which really helps with power progression. Because like if your armor is really what's suffering, you can specialize to armor. If your weapons are suffering, you can specialize to weapons. Like it's really a nice system, and I know that this particular system will go away, but I hope that this. Like Bungie takes this system and runs with it.
Yeah,
it's so convenient. That's so nice.
That's my feedback right away as well. Like when I see this, I'm like, oh my god, they did it! They finally made an engram system that is incredible. They're like the drop rates are good. You can focalize the engram, and like there's a lot of development pathways throughout the season for it. I do not want to see it go away because
the Drifter is the Crypt arc that we've always wanted.
Who knew that's where that was going?
He's so much better at it.
It's amazing. And this is something that they totally could run with because they can change the loot of those engrams season after season and keep this going forever and just rotate it.
Yeah.
That was exactly, I don't know if we're getting more into Season of Arrivals later, but of all that I have to say about it, the engram system was the one that has now hooked me back in.
Same.
It feels as close to intuitive as if new stuff has been in a while. I mean, there's still a lot of things to figure out with it, but taking your Umbral to the prismatic recaster and upgrading, that's what you're upgrading is how you get engrams, and what you get out of it. On top of that, of course, being able to buy mods in the same place. It just all made a lot of sense to me, but it's really got me hooked in.
I'm excited every time one of those things drops. I'm like, ooh, Umbral.
Yeah. I gotta focus this thing up.
I love how you get them no matter what you're doing too.
Yeah.
So you're not like. Yep. I feel like over the last 2 years, I've really been locked into this. If I want to upgrade my character, if I want to like power up my character, I'm really locked into this. Okay, I'm gonna play 3 strikes. I'm gonna play 3 to 5 games of Gambit. Then I'm gonna play 3 to 5 games of Crucible, and repeat. Right, rinse and repeat. And that's like. But with the Umbral system, is I can play whatever I want. I still have to do that stuff. Like I still have to do that, like 3 to 5 games Gambit, 3 to 5 games Crucible. But now I can just play. Like if I just feel like playing Gambit, I can play Gambit all I want and still feel like I'm making progress toward my character. I'm still getting cool loot because the Umbral engrams are going to drop, and then I bring them to the Drifter and I turn them in and I get cool new stuff.
Yeah, instead of giving us just a new public event or a new menagerie style thing, they have made it work for the entire game, which is exactly what I want to see in future seasons, is making it to where those strikes and those Crucible games and the Gambit feel invigorated and exciting again.
Rewarding.
Because rewarding.
Yeah. I like how they look too. It's just really nice to see a new engram drop that looks all spooky and mystery. And when I see it, I'm like, this is great.
Yep.
Yeah, I wanted to ask, what did you guys think though of within this system though? They've locked a few items into the season pass, right? So I really want that new amazing broadsword.
And grab your bounties and do them, Jesus.
Yeah, but you got to get pretty high in the season pass. But I mean, what do you think of them locking it within the season pass versus just putting it? I don't mind it a ton, but I would say that was one thing I thought was kind of unintuitive. And also when you first hop in and you see like all the gear, there'd be nothing to indicate that you couldn't get that sword. if you're trying to focus your engram. And so I was actually
Unless
trying to
you
get it.
hover over it.
And then you got to hover over it. I was like, can't you just mark it red in the first place? Like, I understand there's a lot of systems you got to build, but putting that aside, it was more, I don't know. I kind of just want to upgrade the prismatic recaster and upgrade my engrams versus like think about unlocking an item in the season pass first. So yeah, I'll just straight up say it. I don't like that I have to unlock a sword in the season pass to then get it to roll in there, only because it's unintuitive, not because it's gated and it's special. I think it's cool that it's gated. I just think it would have been a lot cleaner, like right there in the system somewhere.
Okay. I'll also say that I thought I was kind of lame to just suddenly get an exotic right from the season pass right away.
Oh
They always
man,
do that.
It's
this
a really,
exotic, man.
It's a badass exotic. I love
Wither
it.
Horde.
Yeah, Wither Horde. But I'm not a fan of them just being like, here's an exotic for owning the season pass.
I don't really mind it. It's kind of fun
like
to like get something new right at the get go. Like, hey, all right, new season, you're gonna get this fun new gun to play with right from the get go. Even if for me, I was power level 965 at the beginning of the season, so I got to play with new stuff while I was leveling up, and that was cool to me. Like, I didn't have to wait to get to 1020, 1030, 1040 to run a like a new mission and unlock it. Like, it was fun to just get something new right off the get go. I thought that was fun,
and it's really good too.
However, it's
Teft.
fun to use.
No,
And it's good.
Disagree.
Disagree,
But
Briar.
Hard
Jesus.
disagree in the Crucible, because that thing is getting spammed like crazy in the Crucible,
Well,
and there's all these like death areas all over the Crucible. It's like, well, I'll turn around here because this place is locked down.
People just
well,
making
also
a pool of darkness.
the catalyst requires you to get 100 kills in Crucible. So now, if you thought Mountaintop was around a lot before, now it's bad.
Yeah.
That is silly.
Not looking forward to getting that.
I didn't even know that. That's very disappointing, because this thing, I don't like that grenade launchers are not heavy weapons, because I don't like them in the Crucible, like just getting spammed. This thing is getting spammed like crazy, and that long lasting. So what this thing does, for anybody who hasn't played with it yet, is it's a grenade launcher that's in your primary kinetic slot that fires a regular grenade, but then where it blows up, it creates this well. It's like a darkness well that takes huge ticks of damage off of a guardian that's standing in it, like huge. I think it's like 20 per second or something like that. 20 per damage per second. It's like big damage, and it is everywhere in the Crucible.
It debuffs PvE enemies too. I think it like slows them down or something like that, right?
It's really good in PvE.
Yeah.
Like, it's really fun to use. And
It looks like it stuns them as well as it might be debuffing them somehow with just their ability to walk through it, right?
Yeah, it gives them like a stun type of thing. Yeah, it's really good. Yeah, and that's
It's
freebie.
cool, though.
If you got the season pass, boom, you got it.
Yeah, the reload's really slow though, so it gives you some incentive too to be like, well, I'm going to go in, put on enhanced grenade, reloader and all this other stuff. But yeah, I haven't played with it.
The catalyst gives you auto loading holster. I could be wrong, but
no, it does it. Yeah, I don't know what the catalyst does yet. I really want it, and then I looked and it was like, you need 100 filthy lucres, like as if that plus the description of what the frick that was. I know it says pretty much what it is, but I had some real trouble understanding that one while I was streaming. I was like, what am I supposed to do?
Yeah, I saw that.
And I think you only get one filthy lucre. You got to do 100 completions of any of those types of matches, I think. Strikes, Gambit, Crucible, but
yeah.
But anyway.
By the way, yeah, it gives you auto loading holster and handling for getting the catalyst done. So it's definitely even better. Yeah.
So like quick
swap.
Maybe it's like
yeah.
That sounds dope though. I like it. By the way, I did the first part of the if you haven't used it yet, just to illustrate how cool it is, I did the catalyst in Whisper because you know exactly where all of them are coming, at the bottom of Whisper, and you can stand at the tip of that V and they just come to you. That was when I had the moment of this gun is amazing because I knew they were all going to come to me. I literally just put 3 shots as best I could at all times in front of me, and they just kept piling into it and melting.
Yep.
And I got 10 of those vault keys like a minute. It only took minutes to finish the first step in there.
Wow.
But just the feeling, the effect of the area of effect, and that also led me to be like, this new, never mind the darkness elements and stuff, just the getting more like area of effect abilities and stuff. This is the
Yeah.
way of Destiny's future, I think. Like I started to imagine like maybe a gun that whatever even leaked, you know, like stuff like this, area of effect off of bullets and doing really cool stuff with you know, that we've seen in other RPGs for sure. And it looks like they're going down that road. So I'm getting pretty excited.
Yeah.
Before
really
we
cool.
move to another subject, I just want to talk about Drifter's little machine and how he's
All right,
giving
all
out
right.
some charged with light mods. And
Yeah.
some
Yes.
of these are pretty nutty. So one of them that everyone was getting very excited about, especially with the introduction of new swords and Boltcaster and Dank Drinker babies, is called Lucent Blade. So this one is, while you're charged with light, dealing damage with a sword gives you bonus sword damage for 5 seconds. So all you have to do is go in there, hit him once, and then just wail on the boss with your sword. And it is so good. And there's a bunch of these really cool charged with light mods this season. So I've found them already to be really powerful, which has been great.
Nice.
So make sure
Yeah,
you're
this-
buying those.
They seemed good. Yeah, it's funny. I put Lucent Blade on before I bought it, and apparently that's one of the bugs. I was trying to figure out how I was using it, and it's funny. I saw your tweet, and it was the day after, and it was like, "Oh, check it out! You know, make sure you go look at it." And I was like, "Wait, I already have it on. How did I do that?" But apparently, there's a bug that I think this week you can use if you have the bug. Maybe everybody does. You can actually just equip them, and they said they're going to give you a chance to just test them, right? Their exact words were, I don't have it in front of me. I thought I did, but anyway, you can, I believe, try to equip the mods. Don't worry about buying. See if they're in there. But anyway, the mods totally look cool.
Nice.
Yeah, the mods have been great.
Yeah, I need to start buying those.
Actually, here's what they say. Sorry, I might as well read it. This bug allows players to equip all of the current seasonal charged with light armor mods on any of the season of worthy armor pieces without
Really
having
specific.
previously acquired them. That's what it is if you have on season of the worthy armor pieces. But they said the teams decided not to disable the mods until then, the next hotfix in 2.9.01. Just to give you a
coming
chance
out
to test
next
it
week, right?
out. Yeah.
Yep.
I think that's cool.
Correct.
Cool.
Good bug. Try them out.
Good
Yeah.
bug.
A good
Give 'em a
bug.
try.
Should we go back to the event, the
Yeah, we
reveal
could-
stuff?
We couldn't even get past like
Because
subclasses.
they
are cool.
said you know, new season, all that stuff, and then they dropped a bomb on us. Well, they said other stuff after this, but like, given with the season, they dropped a bomb about a dungeon being available at 5
Today!
p.m. Yeah,
At 5 p.m.
I was
like-
not
That was really
expecting
cool.
this.
I would have hoarded bounties.
No.
Right? Yeah, I would have hoarded bounties too.
Please
do that,
no.
yeah.
Can we please delete that practice? I know you're joking, but please don't make us do that.
I'm not
Nobody wants to
joking.
do that.
But I don't
Delete-
want to do it. But
Delete hoarded bounties. That's what I want to see happen. But
I
of
would
course,
love
tell
for them
people
to do
ahead of
that.
time. Yeah.
Yo, this dungeon
holy
is
cow.
amazing.
Yeah.
I'm
Yes.
waiting to play it.
Yeah. Oh, you haven't played it yet, Fran?
I'm avoiding it until I get a reasonable experience out of it. I'm only about 10. I was only 1,000 going into this season, so.
Okay.
But I don't know if
I
you're
was
going to
only
spoil anything. Is my point.
965. I got up to 1013 though, pretty quick.
Mhm.
So like the blues catch you up to 1,000 real fast.
Yeah,
And
you,
then
Yeah,
you
what
just-
level should you
know.
be maybe to try to go in?
I'd say 1025 if you want to like.
That's what I was thinking. 1021 maybe to try the beginning.
Yeah, because
For the
it
final
recommended it's
boss?
1040. Yeah, final
Yeah,
boss.
uh-huh.
I was 1017, and if I got anywhere near fire from the knights, then I was dead.
Yeah.
Like if I tried to escape the fire, the ticks were too quick and the damage was too high, and that was at 1017.
That kind of power deficit is hard to make up.
Yeah, exactly. So, but I did go in like late 1020s, and by the end of it, I was 1030, and didn't have a problem staying alive.
yeah, I would
Nice.
say 1030 is probably like a good, comfortable place
Mm-hmm.
to be where it's still going to be challenging, but you're not going to insta die as soon as a knight spits on you.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So
But the,
Watson Tefty, I was watching you guys stream it, and it visually is really unique to this encounter. Like it looks like the Nine are having like an 80s weekend rave party. Like it
Yeah.
is so cool looking.
Oh, no.
It
It's
is
playing.
super cool.
Yeah. Some yacht
What I
rock on
got.
the radio.
It's- It's really cool. In fact, I said it yesterday playing. I realized that this is what I've been looking for the space exploration experience of what Destiny could offer, and how I've been saying like, man, I want to go outside the solar system. I want to see like unique alien worlds, and this really kind of gave that experience. You know, it's like I said also, it's like Oblivion meets Stargate type of thing that's in there, like this futuristic but kind of 80s. Like I don't know, they did something really special with it. With the
I was gonna say
yeah.
The trailer was amazing, so at least I saw that. Obviously, does it live up to that hype and versus
it's so good.
previous dungeons?
Oh
It's so good.
Definitely.
And the thing that I really take away from this as well is the other two dungeons were really, really, really good. Like Bungie makes amazing experiences, but this one feels closer to a raid experience than a dungeon. It actually feels like a mini raid and not a dungeon.
Yeah.
I felt like the pit kind of did. This even feels more so like it, huh?
Yeah.
I would say so. Yeah.
Yep. Definitely. Yeah, it's not as long as I think it's in between in terms of length, but man, it's really well done. The art, the music and art team, they always nail the stuff, but this one really had vibe to it. Uniqueness.
This one's cool too because you get rewards every time you finish it, right? So you don't get a powerful reward every time you finish it, but you get rewards. So you can like
you can farm it.
Kind of like
you can farm it, which that's next week. That's something that I'd really like to do is just sit in the dungeon and just kind of farm away with some higher light level. It'd be amazing.
What are the set of rewards? I mean, it's got its own armor, right?
So they brought the kind of trials armor into the regular drops, and then there's a new armor which is the Daito armor set that you can get at the end from the chest.
Yep.
Any weapons that we know of?
I don't think so. I mean, there's probably some sort of exotic tied to it potentially.
There is a secret in there.
Yeah, there's 2 secret chests. We know that.
But it's not like trying to get like premonition out of the pit or whatever. How you get a pulse rifle out of there, and although you can get that from Eris now, I heard the pulse rifle that came from Pit. But that's what I was wondering. Are there any weapons like that?
I don't think so. I think their thing was give it armor, and that is one little kind of. I'm a little disappointed on that. I really appreciate when they have these events or these encounters and then attach quality weapons that you want to chase at it. You know, like that's part of the raid experience is getting raid weapons make you feel powerful in the sandbox. Yeah. And they haven't really been attaching that style of loot to these dungeons. You know, I mean, they've been given an exotic. You know, the last 2 had exotics that are good. Yeah, like Xenophage, man. Xenophage is so good. And I'm assuming there's going to be something like that tied to this dungeon. But no legendary weapons, which sucks.
It's surprising because if they're reusing that old Trials armor, like they have the set of weapons that goes with that too.
There's a ton
Maybe
of
they're
weapons.
holding that one in their pocket.
Like reference, I think. And
yeah, apparently the Icarus weapons, I think, might be the only ones. Maybe those only drop from there. I don't know if you can get the Icarus weapon.
Icarus
random rolls on them. Yeah.
I have. You know,
that's
you can farm them. But again, it's not like
that's good.
It's not like super unique like raid loot. You know, it's like we've seen those before. Of course, they do have random.
Yeah,
but that's good at least.
The Icarus weapons are pretty interesting.
Yeah.
Well, that's good. I can't wait to get in there. It just sounds like a bit of a climb.
It is.
That dungeon's also going away in September, right?
So it
looks
says
like
that, but it shouldn't.
What?
And
What's
that
going away?
should not happen.
The dungeon.
I feel like it's
What?
I feel like that cannot be
That doesn't make sense.
right.
This comes from, I believe, YouTube videos on Destiny's page that has like a little note in it that says this content, will.
Last night I looked at the triumphs, and in season 11, the triumphs for the dungeon are there. So naturally, if it's season 11 triumphs, that content I believe would go away with it. And so I actually was wondering that too. I was like, wait a minute, this isn't a seasonal content like triumph system. Is it going to go away?
It needs to not go away. Let's say that even if that's the plan, it shouldn't happen, and it's not going to happen because that's a bad idea.
It is so
I
cool.
understand. Yeah.
No,
it's so cool of an experience.
Yeah, no.
And to take it away, that really sucks after 3 months or 4 months, or whatever. Yeah.
Well, let's make sure we should probably still follow up. I'm still wondering what the exact factual it's definitely going away is, but like I understand it's part of the triumphs, but does it say in sort of black and white this will no longer be available in season 12?
Destiny's YouTube page like in their intro for it, that it's going away. Like in the
the word.
comments,
I'm gonna
not in the
look it up in the
comments, in the description of the video.
Okay, I'll check it out. That's a bummer, but anyway, we can tackle that later. There's so much other news, right?
Yeah. But the dungeon was amazing. So really cool. Well done. I think it's my favorite dungeon so far. The vibe was incredible. It did make me want to play SRL.
I did play SRL.
They also kind of introduced the content vault, right? Like this kind of idea of the content vault where they're going to be putting stuff that is currently in Destiny 2 into the content vault and taking stuff out at kind of when they feel it's fit to do so. So for instance, in the next season, they're going to be bringing back the Vault of Glass and taking some of the stuff that we currently have. Like they listed off how many strikes they currently have, how many, lost sectors they currently have, and how like currently it's like 115 gig install to download Destiny. Yeah. Like, and that's unmanageable. It's also hard for them to like kind of keep it all working correctly. So they're going to be taking stuff out, putting stuff back, and they'll kind of be rotating through the content that they've built.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think this is super smart. So they said that they're bringing back OG Cosmodrome. D1 Year 1 Cosmodrome is coming back. And then they did say that in 2021, Vault of Glass was coming. So I'm assuming that's going to be a March update. So they could give us their September drop, and then 6 months later, give us a redux of an old school raid. And for me, I love that. That's such a good balance. That's what we're looking at for the next few years. Like, that's great. And I'm okay with them retiring planets that we're not really going to that often. If I know that it might come back later on with some restoration or some repositioning, I think that's cool. Yeah. Super smart.
We don't know what they're taking away yet, though. Right.
We have a decent idea of what's initially being taken away in terms of planets, because a new map was shared of what the new map's going to look like.
Yeah, that's true.
So and the pyramid ships are actually visiting those those planets where we're doing the Contact Public event. Wherever the Doritos hit, the Doritos shall destroy.
Is that what it is?
It's all the ones that we're gonna have the public event on. That's Leviathan, funny. Io, Titan, Mercury. But Leviathan is like the whole raid's going away.
Leviathan is gonna get hit by a Dorito ship?
I don't know if it'll get hit by a Dorito ship, but it'll get hit by the content vault.
Oh, okay, yeah.
That'd be cool, though. Can you imagine loading into a Leviathan raid and you're like, wait a second.
It's been taken-ified. Dorito-ified, yeah. Yeah.
It'll be cool, I guess, to see the Cosmodrome again. I mean, we spent 3 years with the Cosmodrome. I'm not in any rush to go back to it, personally.
What about
kind of same with the Vault of Glass?
Sepix Prime.
Yeah, that I'm excited about.
If they change stuff in like significant ways, then that'll be fun. But I played that strike for 3 years.
I got some nostalgia. I can't wait to play it again.
Yeah, I'm just excited about that. Some of the strikes coming back, like Luke in the interview with Lupo alluded to Valos Ta'arik coming back. The Cerberus Prime 3rd or whatever it's called. But that coming back, that'd be a great example of one. I'd be like, yeah, that'd be fun to go back to. He joked about how he didn't confirm it for sure, right? But he said if that came back, that's something like I could laugh at and like really enjoy going back to, right? And that's how they were thinking about what they bring back from Destiny versus making it clear it's like we're not gonna bring back everything. And in no certain terms are we going to just remaster Destiny within Destiny 2. He confirmed that as well.
Yeah.
Sort of piecemeal.
The simple fact is that our hard drives are only so big. Especially on consoles where you can't just like easily throw another hard drive. Well, I guess you can easily throw another hard drive onto them, but with the new consoles, you're not going to be able to easily do that. These things are only so big. They're expensive. So it's like, how big can Destiny be theoretically before you needed your own hard drive just for that?
Yeah, plus the updating process. They said that it's just becoming almost impossible to patch because of how big the install size is. Yeah. there's a process with that's a lot more difficult the bigger it gets. So yeah.
And I think it's it's one of those too, like when you show up in a grocery store aisle and there's like so many types of the same thing, right? The same public events and strikes or whatever to choose from. You do get some sort of like, it's not as fun anymore. You're like, I just let's narrow this down.
Yeah.
And I think that's part of it too, is like you can really direct the experience a lot better when there's not so many different places that, like, probably as the game designer in those seasons, they're not thinking about like, I'm not going to bring you back to Titan. I don't have to worry about it. I don't have to bring you to Io and so on. So they can make it more special, hopefully, in the places we can go.
Yeah.
And hopefully when they take it away, when they bring it back, it'll feel fresh again. You know, like, oh, we can go back
Kind
to
of what
Titan,
they alluded to.
Yeah,
That
that's
they're going to take stuff away and work on it.
yeah, that's what I'm looking forward to. Like a kind of a revamp of the Cosmodrome, a revamp of Vault of Glass in the D2 system. You know, maybe they put champions in there or something. Like, I think that's great.
Yeah, they pretty much said they were going to. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So let me ask you guys, like, obviously we got a ton of stuff in this reveal, but like, just if we just narrow it down to this season, what do you guys think about like the reveal of Season of the Arrival? You know, like, are you looking forward to this, or are we just really just focused on fall at this point? Do you expect much more out of this season, or do you think we got a dungeon? You know, just
Still got to do our solstice, I'm sure.
I would
We
imagine.
have Solstice. It's on a roadmap that
Yeah.
Solstice is happening.
Oh, really?
But the roadmap is way smaller than what it has been in the past. I think with the whole Bastion situation that happened with the community event, they're like, let's just not tell them anything, tell them minimal stuff of what they can expect, and have the season be a surprise, which works perfect for this kind of season because it's all spooky and darkness is arriving. And I personally, the first story mission, so I will say, I love the way that Season of Arrival started. Because instead of you being able to go to the tower and you're like, let's check out some stuff. Okay, let's go do this mission. It kicked you right into a story mission of introducing you to the season, which is what they need to do for sure. Because it really
be awesome.
Makes it feel new. And the environments are really good. The story seems really good. So I'm excited to have this season and it's probably because I am really excited for September as well, but it's like that introduction to September. It's the prelude of September, and it's really setting the scene for everything. So I'm looking forward to all of it.
I didn't feel like it just dumped me so cold as the Almighty mission did either.
Yeah.
Like I really was like, I'm digging this mission, you know, Zavala's on the Almighty, we're like fighting together, this is really cool, and then it's over. Like, what happened? Like, what are we doing here? Like, this one, it felt like a better transition into like regular day-to-day gameplay.
Yeah, that tree that you get to see, the treasure tree.
That's so cool.
Yeah,
so beautiful. That world design is just insane, man.
It is.
Yeah,
it's funny that you mentioned that, because I was like enamored with the particle effects. There's this like prismatic, prism tear of the RGB of the light, and like I was looking at it, I was like, you can say this engine is kind of built on old tech, or it's been updated over the years, of course, but actually all the work they put into PC, especially, I'm sure it looks great on console too, though. But I was like, this is in a good place. And as we probably getting to talk about it, like, I always expected they have to unplug and like start over, because you usually want to start with new tech and stuff. But the more I was looking at that, I was like, this looks great. They're in a good spot with where the engine's at, I think.
PC version hasn't always been like beautiful. It's a beautiful PC game.
Yep.
Yeah.
I argue that it's a beautiful game no matter where you look at it. Like, it's just a good damn looking game. Like, the downside on console is obviously frame rate, and that's getting fixed if you transfer over to Xbox One or PS5. Which we now know for sure.
That was another confirmation that happened in the reveal.
That was a confirmation. It was just hit after hit. I was like, oh my, okay, great. Awesome.
Free transfer for your
transfer for everyone. Yep.
That you own.
So if you get a PS5 and you've already bought, this Destiny 2 season, what's the next one called? Beyond Light?
Beyond Light.
Yeah, Beyond Light.
Yeah, Beyond Light. So if you bought Beyond Light on a PS4 and you buy a PS5 in November, it just transfers over, and now you're playing at 60 FPS. Great. Same goes if you bought it on Xbox One and you buy an Xbox Series X. Just transfers over, and you keep playing, and
you're good to go.
Now you're playing at 60 FPS, which is awesome. They confirmed that it transfers between same like kind of manufacturer consoles. It doesn't transfer between manufacturers. So if you bought it on Xbox One and buy a PS5, it doesn't transfer that direction.
Right.
And they confirmed that it's at 60 FPS, which everybody wanted, but nobody was willing to say, yeah, they'll definitely do that.
Yeah.
They made it clear.
They also confirmed.
So glad
They
they
also
did.
confirmed crossplay for the ecosystem between PS4,
Yes.
PS5, and Xbox One and Xbox Series X. So those
And that they're
ecosystems
working
will
on-
crossplay.
And they're working on full crossplay between all ecosystems.
Right.
For next
Possibly
year.
next year. Yeah. That's
Hopefully next year.
amazing. I was like, wow. Okay, then.
Do you know what got me the most excited? And also, actually, why I am enjoying Season of Arrivals as well is when they on the screen we saw 2021, the Witch Queen. I was like, excuse me.
So
Yeah.
this is insane,
they were
man.
going that far.
This is
they
insane.
forecasted 3 years of major fall expansions, and
Yeah.
this is like big time independent publishing vibes right here. Big indie developer mood right here, with them being able to be like, this is what we're doing. We're laying it out. And also they basically killed any kind of talk about D3, right? Like D3 is not happening.
Not working on it.
Yeah, they're
Not
not. They
working
don't
on
have plans on D3. They've committed to this, which is phenomenal to finally get some clarity and focus as to where they want to take it with the franchise, because you just don't know like how much time investment you want to put in something if you think all your stuff is going to go like it did with D1 to D2, right?
Yeah.
This gives you confidence that, hey, you can go and collect all that stuff and know that they're planning on supporting this game for years at this point.
They're not going to take it away. They're going to sunset it instead.
And not only that,
They're gonna
but we
sunset
know
your
that that with them planning this far ahead and letting us know, and from the beginning mission of Arrival, because we saw Savathun's sigil. We saw it. So this season is also tying into 2021 September release.
Yeah.
So seeing them coming forward and saying this and saying it in Season of the Arrivals, it's really lets us know that they're creating a coherent story between the seasons and the September releases.
Yeah.
Which makes me very happy. And because if they want their ever evolving single world, that's what they're going to have to do. And it looks like they're on track to do that.
Looks like it's happening.
Well, it looks like we're going to be dealing with this pyramid ship problem is going to be a continuing issue. It's not. We're not going to wrap this
Not
one
going to
up.
solve it this summer.
Like the Witch Queen. So in 2020, fall 2020, we're getting Beyond Light. Fall 2021, we're getting the Witch Queen, which everybody assumes is speaking to Savathun. And then in fall 2022, we're getting Destiny 2 Lightfall. And the artwork for that still has a pyramid on it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, this is the darkness, I guess, right?
It's
so
when
it's a
we
pretty big. It's
The
Lightfall sounds pretty
Game
bad.
over.
I'm gonna
Collapse
say
part 2.
Lightfall sounds pretty bad because we
Yeah.
are light and falling seems not great for us.
I heard
No.
some speculation. Like, obviously, this is 3 years in the future, but speculating about how we lose all of our light and it's only darkness subclasses that we have at that point.
Yeah.
Oh, they get rid of the solar void arc and we're
Yeah,
stuck
so
with like the ice
Take away
poison or
those,
whatever.
yeah, and then it's strictly darkness subclasses that you're developing or building off of from that point
That'd be
on.
pretty cool.
I gotta call out too that the Lightfall artwork, it really looks like kind of like classic Destiny 1 artwork in a big way to me.
Mm-hmm.
Does
Although the Witch Queen really looks like
Taking King.
the first expansion.
Yeah.
No, I was thinking the first DLC for
Dark Below?
Destiny 1.
Oh,
Yeah.
Dark Below, yeah.
This would have been, I think this would have been like D3, right? If it was still under Activision and they were required to do big installments.
Probably.
Well,
Franchise
Beyond Light
installments?
They were
would've been.
clearing up.
Yeah, Beyond Light would have been D3, right?
I mean, but even under Activision, it got delayed, right? So really, it was supposed to be every 2 years that we were supposed to get a sequel under Activision, right?
Right, but then Rise
think they
Iron happened.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think they ever committed to a sequel pattern every 2 years, but basically, right, there's been a lot of rumors about that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, we're fully off of that track now.
Oh yeah.
Fully off.
That was
This
what they were
is-
making clear is
Yeah, it's amazing that Bungie has finally been like, guys, okay, this is our plan. We're for once on the same page with Bungie, you know, as a community and where they're heading in the next 3 years. I don't think we've ever been there. as a community together with Bungie being
Nope.
like, hey, this is where we're going.
Yeah, we've never known this
Never
far
happened. Never.
Yeah. Amazing.
ahead.
Not this far in advance. This is crazy.
Yeah,
I know.
It started to really make sense to me, some of the approach there that Luke Smith had touched on. And I think had said that he didn't want to see, and they didn't want to see the split in the community, that they saw with D2, and just how when you approach it with a whole brand new revamp, you get this split. And like right now we're living in a world where it's like, well, the next season brings new things, but it's still the same community still playing. And so especially with going across all platforms too, like keeping us all together along for the ride. I do see, that working. And obviously games like WoW and others, that's the approach. They also said they're not getting rid of the 2.
I was
similarly, not to confuse, like this is still the same community, the same game. And they didn't want to update a ton of the art as well. They said it's like very difficult to touch every point that includes a D2 logo.
Yeah.
During the reveal, like they kept calling it Destiny. And I was like, "Oh man, are they gonna delete the 2?" Like I've always thought, like
when I saw 2021 pop up, I thought this is where we're gonna see the deletion of the 2.
I don't mind that. Now that it's becoming so focused on like just like when we talk about it too, we're talking about Beyond Light. We're talking about Witch Queen. Like it's who cares if the 2's there? So I don't mind that as much. I'm more curious to see how they handle tech and. As they've continued to have to deal with that, like all the systems that they have in place, that some of these things probably date back into the early 2010s, of how they thought about how the game works and
with the
just how they develop that. And like just right, like the game is built around how many supers you can throw at the same time at a max level, things like that. And the way they were designed. So how do they unplug that going forward? Luke also confirmed basically no PvP exclusive dedicated servers are in, the books because the game is built on PvE/PvP.
That was when I heard Tefty's heart die a little.
Netcode.
It was a shard. It's just a piece of my. It was a Horcrux that broke off.
But that's the downside, maybe, right? Of like, although I'm all for it, it's just like. We're going to be on this system for a long time, and how could they?
Well, there's not going to be dedicated servers for PvP. Just straight up, it's out. It's out of the picture. Yep. It's going to be D2, and they're going to maintain that, and that's why I think seeing what they're going to do with this whole stasis class and how they can change the sandbox around for the future, that's going to be a big telltale sign over how the evolution of the game engine is going to work. Because I don't care how they get to it, but they need to evolve it. That just has to be it, and. From outside perspective, it's like, well, maybe they need new engines tech or whatever the crap, like that's just outside discussing it. The proof's in the pudding. They have to deliver some changes that make the game feel fresh and inspired moving forward beyond what we've already had for the past 6 years. And if they could do it with their current engine, then awesome. I'm looking forward to that. I'm disappointed though that no dedicated servers. So PvP is going to be the way it is for a long time.
Yeah. And exactly, that's the downside. We'll see how they develop it. I was going to say real fast, like once they unplug though from this current generation of consoles, which we don't know when that will be, but will we get PS4 next year and Xbox X next year, or Xbox One? I don't know. If they unplug from that, that might give us some more options to start to evolve the engine. And that time will come regardless whenever it does. So I think that'll still be exciting, right? When everything's on more confident SSD, integrated bandwidth and whatnot, and plus PC advancements and so on.
Yeah.
So,
real quick, I wanted to talk about Beyond Light and buying it Beyond Light, because there's a bunch of different editions and you get different stuff depending on the edition that you buy.
I haven't even looked at it.
And it can get pretty pricey pretty quick. The collector's edition, I think, is it $150 or is it $200?
I thought it was 200.
It's $200? It comes with like a bag and like a flask and a die-cast pyramid ship. It comes with a die-cast Dorito. You can get
$200.
It's $200. It starts with a standard edition, which I think is $30. If you pre-order, you get an exotic rhymed ghost shell and a legendary emblem. And if you pre-order the deluxe and collector's edition, you get an exotic freeze tag emote.
I love that emote.
if you buy the standard edition, you get a new campaign, new destination, Europa, a new raid. You get the standard stuff. If you buy the standard plus season edition, you get the campaign, the destination, and the raid. Plus, you get a season pass for season 12 and an exotic weapon and catalyst. No time to explain. That's an exotic weapon that you get for buying the season edition. And then you buy the deluxe edition, you get all the season edition, 4 season passes, so it should get you through the year. Instant access to the exotic freeze tag emote, exotic ornament for no time to explain, and the stranger's exotic sparrow. And then the collector's edition comes with all that stuff plus like a bunch of junk that you can put in your closet.
That's confusing as hell.
Well, I think it's crazy that there's an exotic weapon that's, you have to buy the season standard plus season edition to buy.
You'll probably be able to get it in the drop though later on.
Yeah, well, I bet you it's part of the season passes drop 1, just like with Witherhoard. That's what I was thinking. It's
right.
If you buy the season pass, that's what happens. So it's kind of intrinsically, that's what you get.
That's their system now. Okay. They built into that. And if you're a free-to-play player, then you get it after you've leveled up your pass a certain amount of time. It's crazy, guys. They revealed the Stranger is finally having her storyline connect.
I know.
After we heard from Luke Smith that Stranger's dead, we're not hearing from the Stranger anymore.
He debated
That's one of the exciting parts about this is that I feel like for the first time in Destiny's history, I feel like there is a story and it's been written and it's going to be cohesive moving forward.
Exactly.
There is a story Bible now, and they're going to use that to not just create this year, but create next year, create the year after that. So it's just one continuous story as opposed to we got to think of something. Yeah.
So that cinematic, they showed the Drifter, they showed Eris Morn, and the Stranger, Elsie Bray, I believe that's Elsie Bray, meeting up in Europa, going to, I guess, to the Deepstone Crypt or something like that. And as a lore master, I totally know what that is, but I want to make sure you guys know what it is. So what is it?
Exactly? For sure.
I want you guys to tell me what it is, what the Deepstone Crypt is.
Fran, you obviously know the best.
God, we're gonna get skewered again for not knowing what this stuff is. Nobody knows. About? I don't. Yeah,
I think Watson's right. I think it is. It's where exos are made.
And it's
just gonna nod my head and be quiet. Then.
That's where exos are created, and probably where the Stranger's cute ass little fish thing is made.
Little buddy, I know.
Oh, the fish buddy. That's crazy. Yeah, Luke Smith confirmed that wasn't a ghost. Said that was some other thing that
which is very interesting. I find that super interesting because the Stranger is this exo that was created, I assume, in the Deepstone Crypt. And then she has this ghost that's a ghost that's not a ghost.
Yeah.
But it's kind of acting as a ghost, which is very interesting because then it begs the question of can ghosts be created? Like exos can be created?
Well, wasn't the Traveler letting out some gas? Just flatulence of ghosts that went out and found some people to raise from the dead?
That is what happened. Yes.
It's a lore minute right there.
Traveler flatulence.
Okay, I'm reading about the Deepstone Crypt a little more on Destinypedia, which you can do. So.
If you didn't read it on Urban Dictionary, we don't want to hear it.
What's the Deepstone Crypt on the Urban Dictionary?
I hope that's in there.
Oh man, dude, that blew my mind when I saw the Stranger. Finally, I was like, "Oh my god, it's happening! It's finally connecting."
We've had hints. Yeah, we've had hints that the Stranger's coming back.
Yeah,
I was surprised that was part of the big story reveal. Actually, even as little as I can keep up with all the different story stuff. Of course, you remember the Stranger, and we've heard, "Will it ever come back? Won't it?" And then boom, that's like
we heard, "No, it's not coming back."
Right, yeah.
Well, we heard this with the darkness too, right? They were like, "We're done with the darkness. Stranger's not coming back. We're cutting ties. We're moving on to a different thing." So this finally feels like Bungie is recapturing their original story and they're running with it, and they finally have a plan and it's written, and it feels really good because before it kind of felt like they were just throwing stories at us, like here's another one that's never going to get tied up, and now they're finally tying stuff up, which is
really nice. Can't wait. I'm excited to go to Europa. I've said this in the past. I'm a fan of ice environments. I really do like ice stuff. So
imagine Bungie's sound design running around in the snow.
Yes.
It's gonna be glorious. Crispy.
I'm very excited.
We've been
Yeah, I can't wait to see. Because we didn't. We did see a little.
Plaguelands.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Plaguelands.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
that's true. We've gotten a little snow before, but this is like full on ice moon.
Yeah.
So I'm super excited. I'm super excited to see also like all the armor and stuff. We saw Eris and Drifter, dressed up in heavier, clothing. Granted, they were like far out, into the wilderness, as it were, the tundra.
Yeah, it's their secret spot to go get drunk.
Yeah, that's that deep stone crypt. That's where you want to go get a drink.
Deep stone crypt weed. Whoo, goddamn.
The deep stoned crypt. That's
Yeah,
what
exactly.
everybody's heading to on Europa.
Matchmaking's getting some changes.
Got some changes.
Yeah, got some changes. Good point. By the time I'm going to read from the TWAB, by the time that this TWAB is published, a few changes to Crucible matchmaking will be live. Matchmaking based on player skill has been removed from all playlists except Elimination, Survival, and Survival Freelance. Trials of Osiris will continue to be matched based on the number of wins on your passage. We're doing this to respond to community feedback, shorten queue times for players, improve connection quality of the matches, provide more places where the outcome of the match is as important as enjoying the experience, and play into the strengths of Crucible being a bombastic, frenetic action game.
I could not believe reading this. It was like I woke up. It's like it's like I'm in a dream of like I never thought I would actually hear Bungie say, "Oh, you know what? The quality of a match actually isn't determined based on who's winning or who's close to winning."
So I played Crucible. I went in with a bunch of the community. We got like a team and just went in, and I had to disband said team because all we were doing was destroying people. They could barely get a kill. So this is where people get mad at me. So so I agree. The way my stance on skill-based matchmaking has always been, I like a mixture of skill-based matchmaking and connection-based matchmaking. So I think that the very bottom should be protected from the upper middle and the top. And then, the middle can kind of play with everybody. But when you let everyone loose on each other, I played against people that legitimately did not know what their radar was. I was standing right next to them. They had no idea. They didn't know which button was their grenade. They didn't know how to move properly. And I was like, I don't want to kill those people. I don't want to just beat up on those guys the entire time where he pops a golden gun right in front of me and then I just shoot him because he doesn't even know where I am. I jumped and all of a sudden he's like, whoa, I don't know how to turn. It's I don't need to play against those people. I like having a wider net for sure, because then you have a variation in matches, you have better connections. But when I'm playing against someone who basically looked like they just turned on a computer for the first time in their life, that ends up not being super exciting. And they probably also hate it. So I would like to see those people be protected, right? Like just keep the bottom of the bottom of the skill bracket. Just have them play against each other.
Couldn't they just maybe go to elimination?
Bottom mid. They could, yeah. But I will say
they're not going to know
play elimination.
They're the people who are not going to know which playlists have which matchmaking rules.
Yeah. How much are they really going to stay in the Crucible, though?
So this is another thing, right? So this is my other concern and thoughts and stuff. So when we first experienced D1, it was a Bungie game. Bungie made Halo, this super competitive PvP game. Here's the alpha and the beta that's all PvP. So Destiny was introduced to us as a very PvP-centric game. So with that, I was like, hell yeah, take out skill-based matchmaking. It's like Call of Duty when I started playing it, where I was freaking awful and I wanted to improve because I enjoyed the PvP game that is Call of Duty and I wanted to get better. And that, I feel, made sense for Destiny at that time. But now it kind of feels like Destiny, you've probably heard about the raids, the dungeons, the world design, the skyboxes, and you've heard of Destiny as this PvE game primarily, and then there's some PvP. So how many of those players now who are playing this PvE-centric game, who just go into PvP just to kind of dick around and try a new gun, are going to be like, I'm just not going to play Crucible anymore. Because when Classic Mix came out, it was like this. Lots of people were playing. And then it ended up being just the place where sweaty people are because they want to beat up on people. No one else played Classic Mix. So now that it's just completely gone absolutely everywhere, it makes me wonder if they're going to just leave. Now, of course, I do find this more fun because I'm not just playing against Mountaintop and Spare Rations and Mindbenders the entire time, which is great. But I would like to see a little bit of skill-based matchmaking in there just to protect the absolute lowest. Like, if you just start playing PvP, you shouldn't be playing against people that are going to just walk over you.
Yeah.
Shouldn't be playing WoTS.
No.
I agree, because like if you haven't even logged 10 matches, like you shouldn't play people who have had hours and hours and hours in the game in PvP. That doesn't make sense.
Just the lowest guys, yeah.
So I don't really know. I haven't tried it yet, and I actually don't fully know where I land on this subject because I'm curious how the population is going to pan out after a month of no SBMM. Because just like I said,
We'll see.
it could become just a eternal sweat fest of the last people actually playing PvP who haven't given up on the game yet. But on the flip side, a lot of people have said they're planning on giving up the game because the SBMM has been so deep that you're only playing against Mindbender, Spare Rations, like the usual suspects. So there has to be something. I don't know what it is.
I agree. I think I'm not saying that, they should immediately turn it back on and this was awful, but I think they should definitely keep an eye on it and see how many people were playing PvP and then how many people stopped playing PvP and really look at it and see if there's something to I don't know. Like people disagreeing, I don't find it fun to play against an entire lobby that does not know I'm standing right next to them. And I melee them and they're like, whoa, what was that? Some kind of ghost is attacking me. And I'm like, that's
Shaggy from Scooby-Doo. Gee, Scoob, who just hit me?
Yeah. But like, of course, that's why I'm saying the very, very lowest. I'm not talking about someone who is average 1.0 KD, keep them away from the top players. That's fine, whatever, that's cool. But the people who haven't played much Crucible or are very new to Destiny, just let them be in the kiddie pool for a little bit. Maybe like an introductory amount of time. Maybe if you reset your Vala, then you get thrown in or something. I don't know, but
yeah. I just really appreciate that Bungie has finally said that PvP is meant to be bombastic and crazy and not this like, let's make sure these matches are super close because like the SBMM needs to be ratcheted so hard that like you're only playing against matches where it's going to be a close game every time. And statistically, they're looking at that as like a successful match or some crap like that. They said that they want the matches to feel better. And I really appreciate that they've finally recognizing that the game isn't about like PvP for me is not about winning or losing. I could care less if I ever won another game. I just want my shots to register. And I don't want to feel like the lobby is full of laggy people or something like that. Like that's what I consider a quality match.
It's I will say that you're getting matches way quicker. Finding matches much faster. Before I could go like get a. What have you played since the TWAB came out?
No.
Yeah, I was gonna say, did you see it change WoTS?
It was after
this
the
update,
TWAB.
not just it's not just Season of Arrivals bringing people back.
No.
It literally.
It was today for sure. I noticed it right away. It's very, very noticeable that it's not there anymore. And it feels exciting because I get to play people using different stuff, which has been awesome. But yeah.
I remember when they screwed it up and they were like, hey, no, we didn't change anything. It's like, oh, actually, all of our matchmaking settings were completely turned off. When that happened.
That was a dark time.
Well, it was really
the
interesting because I'd
like
go in.
Christmas break.
Yeah. I'd go in and like, I'd run into people who literally just picked up a controller and was like, whoa, this is different. And then sometimes I get matched against a god.
Yeah. I think this is good for right now because Crucible, especially with the quest for people doing mountaintop and stuff, like Crucible just feels kind of But so I think it's a good change for right now. We'll just have to see how it ends up affecting the population and who's playing PvP, and it's really just gonna have to be a wait and see.
Yeah.
Isn't Mountaintop getting retired this season? Like, this is
Yeah,
the
but
last
you'll
season
still
of the
see it in
Mountaintop?
regular Crucible.
Yeah, you can still use it in control and all that.
Yeah, it's just powered. Exactly. It's not like it goes away. It's just the power cap.
Yep.
So you'll still see it out there for those reasons. Yep. So close. Yeah, I don't know. I gotta play it before I decide, and population's different than it was, and I'm not on the skill level that Watts is, so I'm kind of curious because I've been more on the lucky side, which is I'll end up playing with really skilled players, and so I get matched into tough matches, and I'm used to that feeling, and it can be tough for me. But then when I'll go back to matchmaking, I'm like, oh, sweet. I'm doing all right now.
That's actually a good point. Is it may make it more fun to play with your friends who are different skill levels.
Mm-hmm.
Because a lot of times, if I play with somebody who's really good, like if I play with Watts, I have a significantly harder time in the Crucible than if I were to play on my own, because Watts' skill level is making like my opponents much harder than I'm used
Bringing
to.
up SBMM, yeah.
Yeah. So now, like with this system, I can play with Watts and still play like I'm playing.
Yeah. So we'll see. Like, what's it like to play on my own versus now if I match in? It is more random. So I just feel like it's one of those things we have to see. But I do agree with Watts' general point, and I think that's where Bungie's caught of like, damned if we do, damned if we don't.
Absolutely.
We were due, now we don't. So we're back. So let's just see again, because everybody's.
But Watts' solution is good. I
way.
mean, that's a solution that has been in Call of Duty. It was a solution that was in Halo. Is that beginners are in a beginner playlist until you graduate out of it. And there is a skill-based matchmaking score that every player has, so they can just set that at some point where you graduate out of the beginners class and are put into the rest of the.
Yeah, I mean, assuming they can actually do that. Like, if you can really separate the servers and matchmaking based on how many matches you've played, like that's what we don't know. But it'd be nice if they commented on stuff like that, though, because I do totally agree with that. Absolute beginners, like you don't want sitting around your match, because now you're ruining the game, because there's just like they don't even know what to do, or they don't care.
And that's what I'm talking about. Yeah, like the absolute beginners. I'm not talking about someone who is efficient, like they've played PvE and they can run around the map and they know how to switch weapons and they know like what their grenade button is. I'm talking about like really, I'm not getting Fran. No, not you. This is ultimate TEF lecture, TEF lecture territory. TEF would take these boys back to school. They have no idea. You can run around them. You can run around them in a circle, and they have no idea.
They have no idea.
It's time for a TO. A timeout on those guys. Be like, listen.
Just zero idea. I'm definitely not the people who are, maybe their gun skill isn't that great. Maybe their movement skill isn't that great. I'm talking about they don't know how to move forward, or what a radar is, or the fact that what's a bad guy, what's a good guy. Who knows?
Well, they are on mouse and keyboard, right? You're playing on PC, so these people, they know how to use Excel, they know how to use Word. They don't know how to play video games. It's a PC, for Christ's sake.
Yeah, maybe they need the like when you're playing single player games and it's obvious you're not figuring out the puzzle or doing a good job, and then like prompt comes up and it's like, so would you like some hints? It should like literally be like, are you sure you want to play this right now? Like, here, why don't we put you in this little training mode and like offer them like repeatedly, though, if they're doing like that bad, it just detects them being so unaware of their surroundings.
And that's there was a time, so there was a game today where someone popped a golden gun. I was standing right next to him. He had no idea with it. And I killed him, and I was like, you know what? Next time I know I'm gonna just let them kill me with their golden gun. I'm gonna go pretend that I'm doing like I'm dodging. I'm gonna be like jumping, throwing stuff.
Trying to catch the golden gun bullet. Like a goalie.
It's like a touchdown.
I'm gonna let those people just kill me. They're gonna think I was trying incredibly hard. Also, it's a great cover story for when I make myself look like a dumbass. I'll be like, I was trying to make him feel good about himself.
Trying to help them, okay?
I was trying to help. Listen, skill-based matchmaking isn't here. We gotta keep them in the.
I'm gonna start using that defense. That's a good one.
I know we're missing stuff. What else do we got to talk about before we do the Twitter?
Controller.
Are we sure we?
Oh yeah,
controller. No. Yes.
So, Bungie did this for accessibility reasons, which is amazing. They made you able to remap your controller to basically be whatever the hell you want it to be. But with that change brought in some situations. So the way that sprint has been on controller in Destiny forever is if you press it to sprint, you will sprint. And then the only way to cancel that sprint is to stop moving or to jump or dodge or something like that. But if you press it again, the sprint button, it won't cancel your sprint. So if you're someone who is in high stress situations and you accidentally press your stick, or if you're from D1 and you played a lot of Crucible and there was sprint lock that was in the game, you were just spamming your button trying to get going as fast as possible. Now, if you do that, you end up stop running. So a lot of people out there think their controller is broken. And initially I thought it's just the sprint thing. That's not a huge problem, right? Because it's just make it a toggle on, but not a toggle off. There you go. Easy, fix the sprint problem. But people have also not been able to dodge. It's not been reacting to their inputs. People have been trying to use Storm Trance, and that's not working. The triggers have changed their sensitivity. There's been a lot of stuff that has changed. And it's funny because my mom is not involved with Twitter or Twitch or anything. And I called her. She was like, yeah, I played the new season, but I have one question. Why can't I dodge? Because I go in invis. It's the only way I can survive and res people. I can't dodge. It won't let me. So there's definitely some stuff going on with controllers.
They said they're definitely gonna fix the sprint one.
Yes.
But it does look like the change they made to controller support was a pretty deep change in that they're going to have to be doing some tweaking for a while to get it fixed
I
back up.
noticed right away that the dodge thing was not working for me. Every now and then I'd be like, what the hell? I'm tapping and it's not working. So there's a setting.
I noticed the dodge thing way more than I noticed the sprint thing.
So there's a setting and it starts out at 1. I think it goes up to 10. I adjusted it to 5 and now it's not misfiring at all. So
I put it so that's interesting because I put it 5 is the max. It goes from 1 to 5.
Oh,
and I changed it to 5 initially. And then my dodge was happening when I didn't want it to because I was clearly pressing by accident. So I changed it to 3. And 3 seems like a sweet spot. I haven't actually had a problem with dodging since changing it to 3. But there's been problems like jump isn't registering for people. It seems like there's some stuff going on deep in there.
I didn't run into the run problem because I'm always like really conscious of clicking it once when I'm running. So I actually found it really fascinating that some people are habitual clickers.
I press. I actually do it in every game, even like playing mouse and keyboard, playing League of Legends. I'm spamming the button. I don't just press it once. I press it multiple times. And I think my habit is worse in Destiny because of D1 sprint lock. You know, I was always pressing to get going as soon as possible, just spamming it. Yeah. So this has been very, very
hard. That's been interesting to read about.
Yeah.
Do you ever wear out the R3 button?
No, if I had to hold it, I sure would.
Right.
Some people would say like, just switch to hold to sprint. I'm like,
God, no.
No,
that would make
thank
my
you.
thumb like tired.
My thumb would break and my controller would break.
At the end of that session, you'd be like, God, I need to ice this thing, holding down.
Right?
Yeah.
Some games that don't have the sprint lock on keyboard and mouse, so you have to constantly be using your pinky to run.
Yeah.
And my pinky will get sore from doing that.
Yeah, that's rough.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Twitter questions?
Man.
Yeah, let's do it.
I was told today in
everything.
chat to shut down Briar when he says Twitter questions. So no.
Shut him down? No. No.
No.
Not happening,
Bad
Briar.
No.
Zero Uno says this is he's not here. Lux Regalia says, how do you feel about
hold up. We should mention that earlier we announced today that Equagan was going to be on the show. He had to reschedule.
Yeah.
We didn't mention at the beginning of the show. Our bad,
You
guys.
may have noticed he's not here.
But that's because he had to reschedule. He's going to be on the show down the road where we just have to figure out the details on that. So we apologize about the miscommunication on that.
Before Twitter questions, that reminds me that people would like us to talk about the intro of the reveal stream with the COVID, how Bungie has switched over to working from home was really interesting because Bungie did it right away. I think they were probably one of the better companies with switching to work from home. So that was really interesting to see that. And then I was really, really, really proud of them to do the tribute to George Floyd.
Yeah.
And having it be the full 8-minute 46, because And it's something that I said during my stream is, we're sitting here in our comfortable chairs excited about a video game, and this feels really long.
Yeah.
So just
Yeah,
imagine how awful it would have been. So I think stuff like that really drives home just how bad it is.
Yeah.
And how bad it was. And I'm really glad that they did that.
Yeah.
That was awesome.
I'm,
So powerful.
I'm really, I'm proud of Bungie for doing that. I know Bungie, Pete Parsons, is he the CEO?
He's the CEO.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I know Seattle has had a lot of stuff going on with the protests, and Pete Parsons got tear gassed, right?
By stuff,
He
you
did.
mean like obscene police brutality?
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean,
Okay.
I don't want to like say, like I don't know exactly what's happened in Seattle, so I don't want to go overboard. Like, I'd rather have Watts, you say what's been happening,
Oh yeah, Seattle PD's been pretty heavy-handed with
Yeah.
people. There's been a Twitch channel called Woke where you can watch perspectives of people recording protests, and it will be perfectly peaceful. Then all of a sudden, boop, tear gas, or they'll start
insane.
masking up for tear gas. But yeah, Pete Parsons was out there, who's the CEO of Bungie. There's been Bungie employees out there from the beginning of the protests, and like no matter what you say about the game, Bungie genuinely do really care, and Pete is an incredibly kind person. There was a huge electricity blowout here for some people, their electricity was out for 2 weeks, and Pete said, if your significant others or your family need to come and do homework, they need to work, they need a shower, just bring them into Bungie, they can be here. And there's been a lot of like Deej and other community forward-facing people have had death threats, of course, as you can't imagine being a community manager. And Bungie's been really great at helping them handle that and make sure they're safe. So they really do look after their employees and really care about people, genuinely.
Yeah, I really want to like highlight the fact that the CEO of Bungie went to a protest in Seattle and got tear gassed. Do you think the CEO of Bungie is being militant or causing terrorism in the streets of Seattle? Like, if anybody for a moment thinks that for a second, you need to reevaluate some of your perspective.
Yeah. So he's not going around there rioting.
That's crazy.
Yeah, and it's funny. It's like there's so much evidence out there. It doesn't even whatever level of career you have. Although it's like it'd be hard to imagine that he's going to go out there and just cause total anarchy out of the blue.
It's time to start some
to
chaos and looting.
There's been so much evidence. Yeah, I've seen the stuff and it's unreal, just unreal. So yeah, I agree. It's awesome. They didn't do it at 8:45. They told you the show starts at 9, and they did it at 9. They took over the beginning of their show, and I think that was the important part. It wasn't that we want to do it, but we told people to be here at 9 actually, so we'll do it before. It was literally, this is the beginning of our show, and you were going to imagine, for starters, what it was like to suffocate and be suffocated and murdered. And that was so powerful, and it was hard to go in. I was doing a live reactions on a show to it, but I thought it was absolutely so important. And again, for them to talk about working from home and how important that is for all these people that are trying to make this experience for you and how they're supporting them. I do think that was great for both their employees as well as, the fans to know what kind of company they are.
Yeah, absolutely.
So,
yeah.
They're looking good. I think Bungie's looking pretty good right now, is what I would say. I haven't seen any.
Yeah.
There's always something out there, but I haven't seen anything bad about them. There's been some companies, unfortunately, that have been unusually quiet. And Bungie has not been that at all. And they're donating to the cause. They've told us where to donate, where to help, and put stuff in their game to help and all that. So good on them.
Lux Regalia says, how do you feel about sunsetting now that we are seeing it in game? For example, Lonesome is in the Umbral Engram but doesn't offer any new perks. You're just regrinding an old weapon for a new power cap.
Well, I don't know. Like when there's no rolls on it. I guess that I do see that as a problem. If there's no rolls, it just is exactly like it was. I don't have that yet. Which one is that again? Lonesome what? I'm trying to remember which gun you're referring to.
The Lonesome
The
is the
legendary
sidearm.
sidearm. That's it. It's Lonesome.
Sidearm, yeah.
Okay, that's right.
Yep.
So it doesn't come with anything new?
It comes
I
with
guess that's
perks that it never had before.
Yeah,
Like Swashbuckler wasn't there.
Like-
Demolitionist wasn't a thing.
So yeah, I think right.
When
That's
it
like old
first
fashioned.
released.
I think that was great that it came back. Am I misunderstanding that they're mad?
I
It's an
think
old
he
weapon?
means. I think he means that there's no like brand new perks being on it. Like we have some really awesome new perks, like
The
Killing
Season
Wind.
of Arrival perks.
Yeah. So I don't know. It's hard for me. My whole thing on sunsetting is just like blow everything up. So I'm probably the wrong person to talk about that.
Yeah.
I'm with you. I'm with
Sunset.
Watts. Blow everything up, but you got to replace it with cool new shit. If you replace it like, I haven't looked into this, so I don't really know if what Lux Regalia is saying is 100% like factual.
Yeah.
But if it is, like, that's a big bummer, because what I don't want to do is get into a situation where I have to grind to get stuff to replace the stuff that was sunset, the exact same stuff. Like if I lose an awesome roll on a hand cannon that I love to use because it got sunset, but the same hand cannon is still available in the exact same configuration, and all I'm trying to do is just get that same roll that I already grinded for before, that's not satisfying at all.
That's my biggest concern moving forward. Yeah.
You know what? If I'm understanding this right, though, like I get it, but you have to bring weapons forward as well if you want to raise their power cap for a longer period of time. So I don't know, so what I don't remember with Lonesome, was it a single curated role and that's all you used to be able to get?
So it looks like last season you were able to get Lonesome with those perks on it. I didn't know that. So maybe that's an issue of Lonesome actually hasn't been gone or come back.
Yeah.
So I think it's almost too early for me to say exactly like a really in-depth thought on how I feel about it, because it feels like September is really going to hit that mark with when sunsetting really kicks in. Because I don't even really think we're going to feel the effects of sunsetting until then.
Yeah, I definitely don't feel it now because nothing's been sunset yet.
I think it's safe to say that we're all still learning about how this is going to play out, how it's going to feel.
Right.
I mean, look at how long it's taken us to get to this new prismatic recaster system, and it's been a year since Menagerie, and like that's just I think there's going to be some uncomfortable stuff in there, but as we go through the seasons, it will continue to evolve, hopefully. So I don't know, that so far I haven't had anything stand out in terms of the power cap stuff for me personally that I'm like, oh, I can't believe that's it. Because probably because I enjoy the new Umbral Prism, recaster so much in terms of just being able to target stuff. I have just renewed life into like, I can just go get something that I need without being like, I don't know why I'm playing this right now. I'm not sure what I'm going to get.
Yeah, that's how I'm feeling right now. And I really can't comment yet on when it comes to the weapons and the perks yet, because it's only a few days in. I do have concerns about this season basically fizzling out for me by the end of the month. I'm concerned about that because it definitely doesn't look like it's going to be a 3-month type of stuff. There is other stuff coming, with the whole
I think it'll be
solstice
light
and all that, but yeah, I have a feeling it's gonna be light. And we did get the dungeon. The dungeon was amazing. Super happy about that. But like, I'm looking forward to the fall expansion for that new.
But yeah, sunsetting doesn't actually start until September, so it's hard to.
Yep, exactly.
Negralo says matchmaking in PvP is awful. Long queue times, lag, 24/7 PvP World Cup. Do you think Bungie should consider changing the matchmaking parameters? They just did. So ask this question again next week, and we'll tell you.
They asked before the change.
Ghost of New York says, think we'll have a field of view slider on next-gen consoles, or is 4K 60 pushing it? Everybody wants a field of view slider. I don't think there necessarily needs to be a field of view slider. It just needs to be a wider field of view on consoles. Like I doubt, to be honest, if there's going to be a slider.
Yeah, I doubt
I think
a slider.
they'll target a certain field of view, and hopefully it's a wider field of view.
90 would
95
would feel reasonable. I think 90 would be the minimum where I'd like to be like, okay, I could play 60.
I play at 105, I think, which is the widest it'll go.
It is.
And I like it there. I don't know if they'll be able to get it that wide and still hit 4K 60 on the next gen consoles. I certainly hope they will be able to.
Here's hoping. Right?
It's funny because Tef sold me on the idea last time we talked about it. I was like, yeah, you know what? Maybe there will be a slider. But then, yeah, they have to tune it at the max, right? That would be the way that you have to do it is, it's tuned for 105, but if a lot of people aren't going to use it, I mean, I do see the challenge as a developer. It's like, look, we're trying to get as much performance as we can. So if they had to pick like 90 or 100, it might be confusing to have a slider if it's that.
Other games do that though. Like this isn't uncommon, and more games doing it on console.
Yeah.
So I could see them adapting that. I mean, they're already starting
Let's
to
hope
do
it does.
crossplay. They're doing this button remapping stuff. There's a lot of customization options in there. So maybe it'll happen. Who knows?
Yeah, let's just be glad it's definitely running at 60 and
Oh,
all the way up
thank God.
through 4K.
I'm
They're
so
committed to
glad
that.
we got that confirmation.
Yeah, seriously.
Put
Oof.
that
I would have been
to
happy
rest.
with if they had said 1080p 60. I'd been like, yes. Like, I don't even give a shit about the
Same.
4K. 4K is just a bonus. Fuck the police and Hail Satan says the Osiris expansion made me so mad I uninstalled and haven't played since. I watched the reveal stream and got so hyped I bought all expansions and started playing. The returning player's experience is terrible. No context for anything and no guidance. What are your suggestions?
Ooh, that was a lot of emotions all at
That was
once.
a roller coaster, right?
I mean, you had
This
me at
might
Hail
be-
Satan.
This combination of name and question might be my favorite thing that's ever been asked.
You don't know half of it. It's written upside down, so you got to read right to left.
Oh, this is amazing. Can we bring this person on the podcast? This is what we need.
Next guest is fuck the police and his buddy Hail Satan.
Yeah, so I did new light on my Titan because I didn't have a Titan, and it throws literally everything at you. It's like, here's a Gambit quest, here's a strike quest. Do you want to play a raid? Do you know what a raid is? You need a team. Do you know people in this game? No? It's tough. Go do a raid.
Go to the internet. There's a place called Reddit.
There's I mean, I just play whatever you find fun playing, honestly. Like with the new season, having the Umbral engrams, I think really allows you to do that because you can experience, you can experience the new content with the Umbral and the bounties, and you can get the new mods, and you can upgrade your Umbral capacitor decombobulator.
Yes.
And you can do anything while doing that. So I don't know.
It'd be nice if Bungie just made like a guided tour, which was like,
That would be
here
good.
are all the story quests that we've had in like the last year or 2 years of Destiny in like a playlist, or like, an easy to accessible way to play them all like kind of straight through. That'd be a really nice feature.
You just need the Drifter to come out and be like, hey there, Buckaroo. Let's get some darkness, just some light. There's a weapon. There you go, and then get to killing.
But I mean, it's been a while since the Osiris expansion, so there's a lot that's happened.
Yeah.
Tons.
And like some of it is just gone.
Yeah.
Like you're never gonna see the Saint 14 stuff. You're never gonna.
Yeah, true.
You're gonna have to go to YouTube to see that stuff.
People always ask me this, and I always say, like, look, it's going to be super confusing jumping back in. However, just play like the current quest. If you can get over the fact you're lost in the story, just play though, because I feel like that part is at least right. Just do your quest, go to where it tells you, and then that gets you far enough to get back in it. I feel like of the basics, and then kind of like Watt's saying, then you do have this like choice. But I always tell people, like, don't be afraid. Just play something. Like, it's not like you're not gonna break. Yeah, like try to. What I often say is try not to like go so deep that you're trying to understand everything before you play it. And I know that a lot of gamers want to do that, but like literally, you just kind of have to prod around. And unfortunately, it's that type of game. But I feel like there's so much on screen at times that people are like, I can't even deal with it, but just click on something and play it. And you will be able to for the most part, because it's not going to let you into power levels you don't have. And I think overall, right, there's just shoot stuff, and there's a lot
click
to do
the
there.
green flash and stuff, and that'll give you
Learn by
rewards,
doing.
too.
Yeah, it's honestly that's kind of a good advice for anyone jumping into something that's MMO like, because right at the beginning you're brand new to the game, you don't know anything. They're gonna throw literally everything at you, and you're gonna be very confused. So the best thing is to just not really worry about it and just kind of play for a bit, and then slowly, like Fran said, slowly get to know the systems. You don't need to know everything right away.
Yeah, the opposite side of that is actually more frustrating to me, is when they literally like throw, here's how you do this, here's how you do that, here's how you do this, and they do that all like in consecutive text. Like you get into a game and it's like Here's a pop-up, and it explains this system in depth. Here's another pop-up, and it's just and like you read like 10 of these within the space of 20 minutes, and you don't retain any of it.
Yeah.
So you just forget about it, and then they never reference it again in the rest of the game.
Monster
so
Hunter
you'll have like
that.
old things that you don't even understand in the game.
That's why you have a book in your menu where you can open it. And, look through the tutorials again.
Hey, something we didn't mention that we should highlight real quick. Gambit is getting reduced. They're combining Gambit Perfected and Gambit Regular into one Gambit mode.
I didn't even know that.
That's too bad. I'm so sorry.
I saw a story on it, but I didn't process the detail. Yeah, so is that all we know about it?
That's what I took away from it, and I was sad. I was deeply concerned.
Lies.
So you don't want it to be just like one version. Do you want it to
Gambit
be
Prime?
as it
Sorry,
is today?
I said Gambit Perfected because I actually
you
forgot
did
what it was called.
Fake Gambit Defender.
So yeah, who knows? It might get adjusted even further. I'd love to see them put a little more like tweaking to it. Beyond
Watts has already told them how
champions
to
in
fix
there.
it.
That's what we need.
Yeah, Watts has already told them how to fix it. Like it's an easy thing.
I'm actually fine with that news. Like I feel like one version is the way to go.
It is.
It's just not. There's not enough of a population in there to have multiple modes. And honestly, every time I go in too, I'm always like, and it's funny. It's less about playing the mode. It's about which is faster. And I'm like, which one is the faster one? And every time I do it, right? And I'm just like,
telling right there.
It is, but that's
how do I get out of this as fast as I can?
Well, I'm also questing, but yeah, like truthfully, I don't like usually hop over there just to like take a break. Some people really do enjoy Gambit, but yeah, 2 is too much. I don't have a problem with the base. We're gonna get one version. It sounds like it's a redux, right? So it's too early to say like if we like it or not, right? It might be cool.
I like Mech's idea of when you go through to invade, you turn into a champion, and people can use overload rounds on you, and then you go brrr, and you get stuck.
That'd be cool.
Yeah,
that'd be cool. Yeah,
I don't actually have a problem with it right now that there's 2 Gambits, but when you had to do both Gambits to get all the rewards out of it,
Yes. No, thank you.
it was like 2 hours of Gambit.
Double
Every week
rewards,
I had to play 2 hours of Gambit.
yeah.
As a good note, though, yeah, we didn't bring that up, and that's still
that is
good.
changing somewhat in the future.
That is big news. Yeah.
Exactly how, I don't know. And again, I'd like to see them revamp it somewhat and iron out the kinks, the issues, right? Like there's definitely some issues with how that game mode plays with the certain meta situations. I'd like them to address that.
And interestingly, the Dredgen title is set up for any changes because in the TWAB as well, they're changing the Dredgen title to where you don't need to get all of the weapons and stuff because currently you can't get some of them. So they're just removing that from the Dredgen title.
Huh.
Yep.
Yeah. They said they don't like the idea of, changing around how you get titles and stuff because some people might be like, wait, like I had to do that. But they felt like this portion that they're removing was not really that challenging at all. And they feel confident. Hopefully it's not going to piss people off, basically.
If it was Reckoner title, then people would be pissed.
I'm already pissed about Reckoner.
You're permanently pissed about Reckoning, as we all are. Remove it.
Round 2.
Get rid of Reckoning. I don't care about the whole Gambit armors. Put them somewhere else. Keep the dungeon. Get rid of Reckoning. Put spare rations in the Umbral Engram. Problem solved.
Okay.
They could put the Gambit armor in Gambit.
They could.
Oh, they could. How about that?
Or just in the Umbral Engrams. And yeah, you can get some Gambit guns in there already. So it's actually that we didn't bring that up. That's really nice. You can get like some Gambit guns though, not playing Gambit.
There you go.
That's great. Problem solved, like Watts said.
If there's ever a low point in the population, throw spare rations in there in the Umbral Engram.
Boom. Shoots up.
Shoots out of the...
Or don't. Just get rid of it. That's fine. Also.
Yeah.
Tyler Andrew Zelnis says, are any of you guys concerned about the amount of strikes we will have in the fall expansion?
We don't know how many we're going to have.
No.
We don't know how many.
I don't know anything about it. I don't
because
know
they're taking some stuff away, but they're adding stuff too. Yeah, it's too early to say.
Yeah, they're adding 3 from the past, and there's obviously going to be some new ones with Europa. I will say, I hope that they add more and give strikes more attention and love because that's always been a cornerstone of Destiny for me. And it's still in Destiny 2 seems like it kind of gets shafted. Like the regular strike playlist. Nightfalls have gotten significantly better, but like the heroic strike playlist needs some love. The mods, rewards, all that stuff.
Yeah, I'd like to see them focus on strikes because it's such a huge part of what we do with the Nightfall now and the strike playlist and all of that. So I'd like to see more.
Alphon says, do you think it's smart for Bungie to not have a Destiny 3?
Yes.
Yeah.
If their plan is to have a single evolving world.
And if they're able to update that engine properly.
Yeah.
For the way the gameplay feels. Yeah.
I just do what Fortnite did. Have a live event, blow everything up, black screen for a little bit, new engine. Boom.
Yeah.
Which is almost yeah.
I think time will tell on this one, but I don't think it's smart to rush a Destiny 3. So, looking at it from that side, I think it's like when it's time for Destiny 3, come with a badass Destiny 3. But like to just name something Destiny 3 to get out of the door, that's definitely a bad idea.
Especially with all the work they put into D2. It has changed a lot.
Yeah.
I think exactly. I think it's hard to make that trade-off, moving from one franchise to the next, and then when you start spinning down the previous one, and it affects that. So I think, there's still. I think we talked about it before, where like they're still figuring out what Destiny even is. So until they really hit a stride, and it looks like these next 3 years, this is really what we're looking at. Will it hit its stride? And somebody actually, I think, had asked me like, is this sort of going to be the definitive, FPS shooter MMO? And I was like, actually, yeah. Like, not a lot of people have put the amount of work into this, and everybody wants to be Destiny at the idea of it, right? And they have a lot of good stuff going here. So yeah, I think it's the right move for now. And like as we've seen in the game, it's not like Destiny 2 isn't changing. A lot of the ideas you're seeing would have been in Destiny 3, like a new subclass, for example, probably, or they would have saved it, right? And they would have saved some of these other upgrades. So we're just going to sort of see it a little piecemeal, and part of that becomes nice too because they can iterate along with us versus like, boom, we had all these new ideas. Here's Destiny 2, and you're like, wait a second. And then it takes 2 years to like, get back to where we want to be. So
yeah, I feel like we're finally
right
at that point. We're legitimately in the future of Destiny as opposed to catching back up to where we were.
Yeah,
Yep, exactly.
I'm excited. It's just the tech stuff, like you're saying, Taft, and maybe that part of that comes when they sunset the current gen of systems and stuff. But I could definitely use some new engine tricks, although it does look really good already.
Yeah.
Jellybean Johnson says, if you could bring one aspect, strike intros, faction ranks, strike-specific loot, armor aesthetic, more foundries, or anything from Destiny 1 to Destiny 2, what would it be? Mine would be strike intros or faction ranks. I don't want more stuff from Destiny 1 coming to Destiny 2. I want Destiny 2 to be a new and unique game. One of the things that frustrates me the most is when they talk about bringing more stuff from Destiny 1 to Destiny 2. I played 3 years of Destiny 1. I was well and done with Destiny 1 when it was over, and I was looking forward to Destiny 2. I want new stuff.
How about this, Briar? Let me pitch you this. Ammo synths. Heavy ammo synths.
Okay, you sold me.
There you go.
I would take ammo synths back. I would take ammo synths back.
That probably is the one thing I would definitely take back. Oh my god, I was having so much ammo troubles lately in some of these missions and the public events. Have you guys been running into any ammo issues? And I'm talking about having on heavy ammo finder.
Yes.
Whenever I'm
not
low
giving
level,
hand, but,
I always run into ammo issues. Like
This is
whenever
right.
I'm
It's the Destiny experience. At some
What does that have
point,
to do with being low
RNG
level,
is going to
Because
shaft
you
gotta
just
shoot
take
more
more
bullets.
ammo. Yeah, more ammo to kill things. So then you chew through your you have to use your heavy to get the thing down. So then you're out of heavy ammo.
Yeah, but it's fun. Give me more ammo.
It is. The game is more challenging when you're at low level, and that can be fun. But you do run out of ammo a lot quicker.
Well, sometimes
Maybe
you just
that
don't
is
get
the explanation, but
sometimes you just don't get bricks to drop. Like I've had times
yeah, I was gonna say
where no heavy's dropping at all. Like
Yeah.
no heavy, and I have ammo finders and scavengers on all that crap. And then it's just raining heavy ammo. It's like, okay.
I have never had it rain recently, but that's what I'm saying is like I have all the stuff on it. Literally be a ton of enemies that I've chewed through, and I'm like I'm dying. Or you make the mistake of switching your weapons in the middle
Oh
of it.
yeah.
And you're like,
No,
oh
you
my
don't do that, do you?
God. I
Frank.
did, yeah.
No,
like,
I'm surprised.
yeah, I never
Frank.
do anything like that, Brian. I'm not the type. And then I literally that happened to me playing the new mission stuff where you go back to like the Taken King level stuff, and I ended up with a freaking Austringer against an ogre. Oh my God, I was there was like almost nothing there. It took forever to just. You can die, you can kill yourself and get some ammo, I guess. But anyway, side topic. Maybe before the next question, we didn't get to. Is there any questions in here about the new public event? Because we didn't talk about it yet.
Oh, it's true.
Might be worth like what do you guys
PvE
think?
Gambit.
Probably is, but let's talk about it. Yeah, mini Gambit.
Bank
Yeah, what do
those
you guys think
moats.
of the contact?
Bank your moats. God damn it.
Yeah, I actually really
Alright.
liked it. I was surprised. I was like, okay, this is a public event I
Yeah.
can get behind. It's cool. It's fun. Banking moats in a PvE environment like that in a patrol, I think is cool. And it's great to see the triangle adaptive
Yeah.
thing show up. Like, yeah, I like it a lot.
Yeah, I enjoyed it. Like genuinely just have a good time doing it. Seeing the big Dorito ships flying over and the sound that happens when they pop in it feels cool.
Yeah.
And knowing that they're gonna blow the planet up, that's pretty great.
Yeah, they're a little close to the planet.
Motivation.
To be trusting them to.
I thought the pyramid ships might be a little further in the sky, maybe in the sky blocks. They're right.
No, they're right there.
They're 2 feet above me.
They're like,
Well, that's like a
hello.
little like that's just a raft, when you look at it. There's like
Yeah.
there's the huge like
That's-
mothership,
yeah.
and these are like we don't even know. That's like a particle of those things. But I was gonna say I might be somewhere like in the middle. I like it overall as an event, but I did have to groan a little when it was moats, just because as a mechanic. And it's funny because you could replace it with if you had a new animation and a new like box to put the thing in, right? Or dunking, right? Like whatever it is, if it just looked a little different, that feeling of dunking them, that was all for me. I was like, oh man, more moats. Like I'm like, please no more moats, And we're
This
doing
just
stuff
makes
with
me
the
think of
drifter. So it's
Gambit.
kind of like, yeah, like they had to put Gambit in my life no matter what, is what I'm saying. And if it just was like literally if it was like you shot like instead of going up to the kiosk and putting a moat in, I shot lightning at it from a distance of 3 feet away, which is funny because mechanically it's the same thing. You're just cashing something in, but like that would have been nice to get something a little different there. And I have to say, by the way, using the bloom orbs or whatever I guess it was like the secret of cashing them in or whatever. When I see an orb now, I'm trying to dunk it or throw it, especially coming off of last event. And so that confused the crap out of me for the first few times I played it. I was like, what do you want me to do with these balls? And I did cash them in too, by the way. And even then it didn't make sense.
that.
What do you want? Exactly. But I will say I like the event with the champions. It gets pretty nutty when it starts unfolding. But it's fun. It's just chaotic. Like I think when the population thins out, it's gonna be kind of
hard.
annoying. It's gonna be annoying.
Is there any reason
high
I haven't
level.
dealt with it since I did the initial quest? Is there any reason to keep doing them?
Yeah.
Umbral Engram?
Getting your bounties done. Yeah. So to focus your Umbral Engrams, you need the material that drops
okay.
from the bounties of doing stuff. And I think you get those material. Actually, I don't know if you get those materials by doing the event itself, but for the bounties and getting those materials to focus.
So I got to
definitely. You're
do
gonna wanna
there's
do a lot of
specific bounties from the drifter to do that.
Yes.
Specifically. Okay.
Yeah, and that's actually where it ties nicely together because eventually you're going to level up to the point where you want to focus your armor to advanced level where I don't know if it's going to drop above 60 or 65 or I don't know what the stats are going to be. I don't know if anybody's getting them, but that's going to make you want to have a ton of that material. So start stocking up, buddy boy. Those public
All right.
events, you're really going to want to do them.
Yeah.
Gareth Evans says, what do you guys think about Bungie removing stuff from the game come September? Personally, while I understand why they've done it, I wish they'd give players the option of a version on all platforms that has all the content, but will probably have worse performance.
So
That's not even possible.
the issue with that is they suddenly have to maintain 2 install bases of the game, and then
That's not
they've
happening.
doubled their work.
Do you want your game to not receive any updates? It sounds like you don't want any updates.
Yeah, them having a split like that's just not. That's an unreasonable amount of work.
Yeah, they literally said that the patching of the game right now is becoming nearly impossible because of the size. so they have to cut it back in order to keep the
which tracks pretty well. It feels like there's a lot more bugs in Destiny 2 than there used to be.
Yeah.
Like, and there's more like every time that we get a new expansion or a new patch. So like that tracks with my experience.
Yeah.
Dayman says, which raid are you most excited to see return in Destiny 2?
I think Wrath of the Machine.
Same.
That's gonna be
Wrath
sick.
I loved Wrath because it felt like you could be a hero in so many parts of the encounters. Like if your team went down and something needed to get done, it seemed like you could get really hectic and you could make it happen because the whole raid was about movement and always being on the go. So I really, really liked Wrath.
Yeah.
I think that's the one I did least in Destiny 1 as well. So that might be my choice as well.
Yeah, I was gonna say I'm all about Taken King coming back probably during 2021 year, right during the Witch King,
that would make
Witch
sense.
Queen.
Yeah.
The Witch King.
That would definitely make sense.
Witch King makes sense. So it would make a lot of sense, and that raid, frankly, and it might sound bad, is so convoluted in a lot of ways. Like you go from, each encounter, and you're like, it's totally different in a lot of ways. They don't really, like Wrath of the Machine was one of the first that taught you, I think, here's how you handle your ball. And then you carry it through the end, and like they did a really good job of making it a little more intuitive ball handling. Whereas when you get to like Golgoroth, Golgoroth? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
When you get there in Taken King, I remember the shooting, there's that little like
ball juice
teardrop ahead, and I was just convinced I had to like get it to drip on his head, that I would not let it go. Like, I know it's gonna work. Like what is it? And anyway, it's a really cool raid and takes a lot of coordination. So I don't know. I guess I have a lot of sentimental feelings about that raid, so I can't wait to see that one.
Cheer Denim says, do you think new seasonal content will become old fast, having previously been there, done that before on Destination being brought back again into the fold?
What?
And I could see Briar's like, I'm just gonna read it. I'm not gonna try and like read it in a way that makes sense. I'm just keep reading it. It's gonna come back into the left to the right in the fold and 2 times 9.
Adrian too says, with VOG coming back, is there an expectation that VOG loot will be coming back too?
Yeah,
think we'll get Fatebringer back?
Well, I mean, Vex Mythoclast is a must. If they don't bring back Vex with that raid, I'm going to be very disappointed. It's going to feel weird. Fatebringer would be a nice, but I don't think it's going to be the exact same. I think it's going to be an adjustment for the sandbox if they do bring it back.
That's a great question that I didn't even process yet. I just in my mind, I was like already just getting the same loot, but it wouldn't make sense to bring everything back probably. But some things, and I think they'd be crazy to not. Yeah, Vex number 1, but I mean, Fatebringer almost certainly.
I feel like they spent half of Destiny 1's lifespan trying to figure out how to get Fatebringer out of the meta.
Yeah, but everything's so different now. Like, what would Fatebringer even be now?
Yeah,
maybe they have to
Firefly is different now, right?
Yeah, maybe they name them differently too. Of like it'll be Fatebringer something Redux, or it'll have a more clever
Fate
name.
Broader.
Fate bringeth.
Perfect. Fate bringeth. I love it.
I mean, Vision of Cornflakes, that'd be great. I'd love to have that back.
But in other words, what else are we going to earn in there if we don't get those original rewards, right? Like, wouldn't you feel pretty like...
Yeah, I feel part of the raid
some trials armor.
is bringing the loot back, part of bringing the raid.
Definitely.
Yeah, well, that's one of the things about D1 raids that I think is still a miss when it comes to D2 is that the raid loot in D1 was coveted. It was like, dude, these are the legendaries you need. And in D2, it's become very optional to have the legendary raid loot. The exotics are still obviously really good, but like a lot of the legendary raid loot is like, yeah, I mean.
Maybe we can see that change with us getting like, what, 1 new raid a year? Just like September, here's a raid with just a full slew of weapons, armor, and all of them are tasty.
Yeah, that'd be great.
I would love that. Specific mods, specific perks from the raid. Like make them feel special.
Yeah.
Especially with things being sunset. Make them super special.
I'd really like to see like maybe new weapons but inspired by the old Vault of Glass stuff. Because if it's literally just the Vault of Glass stuff, I earned that in Destiny 1 and then I earned it again in Destiny 1. Like, let's not forget
That's
they
true.
already brought VOG back.
They
once.
did. They did.
This is the third time.
That's right. I forgot. What's funny is I have a different experience. I'm like, no, I'd still like to see that loot, but I hear you that you don't want to re-earn it.
I've done that. Been there. Phil says, do you think the raid in Deepstone Crypt will be to give Rasputin an exo body?
And then he becomes the Hunter Vanguard.
Ah,
Boom. Solve that.
nailed it.
Nail that
we
one
go.
into
really
bite.
hard to understand anything he's saying.
I mean,
Trigger
Anna's
blade.
a hunter, right? She could teach him how to be a Hunter Vanguard.
How to Hunter
Love it.
101.
How to hunter with Anna.
I mean, shouldn't Anna just get like that role at this point?
But Rasputin.
I'd be okay with Anna
So
being the
Rasputin.
Hunter Vanguard.
Me too.
That'd be great.
Totally.
I think I should be the Hunter Vanguard.
All right.
Well,
Well,
I'll
hold
be
up.
good with
What
that.
if the stranger becomes the Hunter Vanguard?
I was wondering about that because
It's not a
the
guardian.
stranger's not
It's
a
not a
yeah,
guardian.
They're gonna make an exception. They're gonna rewrite the
Right.
rules.
Yeah,
I'm already a guardian, and I'm a hunter.
Is Rasputin a guardian?
I'm more
Oh
qualified.
wait, yeah.
Is there, I don't. That, I mean,
There's good
Maybe
stuff gonna
he'll
happen if I
bring-
become a Vanguard. Trust.
Maybe he'll bring Fellwinter back. He'll make a new one. We can have Fellwinners back in the game.
yeah. We're
How
gonna
about
get a
guys?
whole mission about bringing him back from another part of time? Perfect.
How about Savathun becomes the Vanguard Hunter? How about that?
Perfect.
Interesting.
That's what I want.
like it.
Keep your enemies
We did
Aldrin
have a
becomes
vote.
close.
Do we
the Hunter Vanguard.
do we know what
I'm okay with
something
that.
looks like other than like all these eyes of stuff? Have we ever seen?
Well,
art
this is
or-
what so we had a poll in chat the other day where I said, how likely do you think it is that Savathun's going to be the new Destiny Bay? And everyone thought, hell yeah.
New Bay.
So,
Savathun?
I don't know. Judging from
Savathun's gonna
her
be-
Not
brother-
ironically.
unironically, Savathun's going to be sexy.
I mean, isn't
I
she
don't know, man.
like
Oryx
isn't
was
Amagol
fugly.
and all that kind of?
Yeah, they're
Hey,
not a
some of those
good-looking-
witches
Oryx
are
was not what I would
pretty-
call good looking.
Oh, Oryx is
That would be
very
cool, though.
attractive.
Watts. I'm down with
The
this
eyes of a
idea though.
worm god.
Almost like
You got to take a step back from the anime, Watts. That's all I'm gonna say.
like Disney's Evil Queen style, like something really. I like the idea for sure. I'm down. I'm gonna go to the dark side if that's true.
Triggerblade X says, "Do you think there will be a story involved with the returning raids and activities? And if so, do you think it's necessary?"
Oh no, I don't think so.
Story. I like story, but yeah, I don't think it's.
Yeah, I don't think they're going to tie in some sort of like we've opened up a rift of time and suddenly the vault of glass is reopened. Guardians, get back there. We got to take care of this. You know, I don't think that's going to happen.
Osiris.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I think they're gonna stick to the whole idea. This is in the Destiny content vault. You can go play it. You know, maybe you'll have to be a certain light level or whatever to do it. But I think they're probably gonna stick to the language almost. Be like, well, this stuff is in the vault. It's old, but you can play it if you want. And then it might go away.
Blue Eyes Hunter Dragon says, "Thoughts on the new trials requirement for players: obtain 10/10 light, achieve a legend, valor rank, and get kills and elimination."
I love the idea. I don't know if it's like annoying.
Is that
for
to try and
anybody,
keep people from just like making new accounts and
Making
getting
new
into trials?
accounts and jumping right back
Right.
in. Yeah.
but I don't know how long it's gonna take to get that stuff done. If you get a new account. But that'd be my question. What's the average amount of time it takes to do all that? In which, I mean, either way, it's going to be a win in some way. It's going to keep some cheaters out. Now, whether or not it really keeps them out, I don't know, because you have to control all the cheaters ultimately. Because there might be people who aren't afraid of getting their account, banned. And maybe they don't mind making a new one, or paying somebody to that's just more work for people. Sweet, the price has gone up. Yeah, so we have to play all this stuff. I don't know. I definitely think it's a good idea. I like the idea of gating the entry, because I feel like people who really like trials you were already 1,000 or 1,010 anyway, so it's pretty easy, I think, to get it done.
Doughboy says, "Does Bungie need to drop or change the 2 for the fall expansion? They've explained why they can't drop it, but could they change it? 2.0, 1.5, or other thoughts?"
2.5 is that what?
But they explained why.
1.5.
Like the
Yeah, they
amount of
explained
effort.
why.
The
Yeah.
amount of effort is just not worth it right now for them. I'd rather them focusing on making the game as opposed to having to go redo a bunch of artwork.
Yeah.
Exactly. I don't care that it's there that much. It'd be nice, like it's a nice thought, but I struggle to like why? What does it even matter if the content's the same? You know?
I'm guessing OCD. They see
the only reason I think it makes sense to change it is because it cuts down the expectation for Destiny 3.
Yeah,
but they've already achieved that goal already by explaining what they're going to do for the next 3 years.
Yeah.
And so you can't erase.
Like
2 has already been out either way, you know. So
Yep.
The expectation's already there.
The reason I thought that they would do it, they took care of they took a different path to the same goal. Totenamaru says, so why do you guys think that Bungie held off on revealing Season of Arrivals? Based on what we saw with Beyond Light, I think the theory of it spoiling Beyond Light is now thrown out the window.
I think
true. Which queen?
That's true, yeah. But I think probably the biggest reason is it seems to me that they've kind of pulled away from doing this whole tell them everything, give them a roadmap of exactly what's happening, and it seems it's more so just like new season's coming. It's gonna be hype. You're gonna want to play it. So I personally was more excited about the season because I knew nothing. So I hope they keep doing it.
Yeah, I like that. I think it's fun to be surprised.
Yeah. Do you think this was the plan? Like this was not influenced by outside factors?
I think the previous 2 seasons definitely influenced it.
I think, definitely.
100%.
Wait, the previous 2 seasons did what?
Influence
them
them
revealing it early?
Yeah, influence them not wanting to show all their cards and give the roadmap so early and all that. Like the whole Bastion stuff. Like there's just a lot of steps that happened that made people go,
that's true.
Really? That was it? As opposed to being surprised over new things.
That's true. I think that's part of it, but I think it's still part of the story. Like, because we do see the darkness pull up to Europa in the beginning of the season, and they kind of tied it together, and I think it plays nicely of a lot of hype on day one. But yeah, I don't know that the story drop was big enough to feel like, it's not like the stranger showed up in Season of Arrivals that they had to wait. So I think it was more about the hype of doing it. Actually, to your point as well, like don't reveal everything. Let's try. What's it like when we tell everybody all of it's happening at once, including today's season? And maybe they got a spike of people playing because I certainly saw that I think there's a lot of people that hopped into the new season thinking like, where's this new Stranger thing? And I'm excited to check it out, and they're like, well, that's 3 months out, but but the hype's there. So
I think it's smart to drop a new season and then announce like the what's coming in the future and all that. I think that's the best way to do it because people do want to jump in and start playing right away when they know new stuff is coming. It does bring them back.
Yeah, I want to be. I have a feeling of wanting to be a part of the journey up to September, right? I want to be a part of all the stuff that's happening, even if I just log in once a week and check out a new story mission or a new piece of lore or whatever. I want to be a part of the build up.
Yep.
Cito's art says, "Do you think Beyond Light will end the franchise or just the era we are in? If you think it will end Destiny 2, could you see any spin-offs happening?"
I think it's ending the era.
Lightfall.
Yeah, I think it's ending the era, and then it's going to be whatever Destiny wants to become after that. Whatever spin-off of like storyline arcs that they could do. There's so much in Destiny that they could explore. The Cabal Empire, like that's out there somewhere, and it's a mega empire. They could explore that whole thing.
Yeah, or brand new ideas. Yeah, I bet you that's where they're at too. They probably have. We're putting a bit of a cap in this era, and maybe there's a second collapse or whatever. But then I bet you they have like 5 ideas they're looking at. Like we still got to sort this out. We got to figure it out in the next year. But
I kind of feel like they're setting themselves up to have maybe 3 years of telling these set groups of stories where they begin it and then they tie it up, and then we go to the next era of the game where here's some more stories, and then a couple of years we tie it up. It feels more like that.
Yeah, like little trilogies. Everybody likes a trilogy.
Little trilogies.
Chops Calisthenics says, "What is one thing that everyone looks stupid doing in Destiny?"
Teabagging.
Yeah,
look pretty dumb.
Yeah, there it is. That's it.
Yeah, let's just go with that.
I know that I not everybody
Playing
does this,
Gambit.
but when I am testing out streaming hardware, like what I do is I put an elastic band between the two control sticks on my controller, and my Guardian is basically just running in circles in the tower or in the farm, so that I can just check the frame rate on my streaming PC, and I'll be like streaming to, like, you can't see me streaming, but you can see me running around in circles in the tower for like 2 hours straight.
Time out. Oh man.
I've had people send me messages like, Brian, you all right? You having a seizure or something? Kool-Aid says, did Bungie just ignore Warmind cells, or is it part of the narrative? Because Rasputin has been taken offline, meaning there's no Tyrant Surge or increase to Warmind cell from weapons. Yo, real quick, they just like casually like turned Warmind off. Like, we had this huge fucking event, and then like, oh yeah, they fucked with the Warmind. It's over now.
That's how powerful
Wait,
the
what?
darkness is, man.
Maybe Rasputin used all of his power and now he's dead.
Maybe he went somewhere somehow. I don't know. Like, there's a lot to come out of that, but I don't know.
I don't know where he went.
I think it fits with the
builds.
You can still use them.
Can you?
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
And they're
Yeah, there's
supposed
still
to
the
be
mods
connected to the Warmind. Like, you get the power from the Warmind. Is that why?
Well, now I am the Warmind.
Oh, you've ascended
That's right.
to
And I'm the
Warmind
Hunter
status.
Vanguard.
Exactly. I don't see the problem.
Good question.
Josh Staffold says, thoughts on an in-game barbershop like GTA has?
Yeah.
Get some
Make it a
clues
strip
from
club
Luke
instead.
Smith that
Put some hive witches in there.
Okay.
I'm sold.
Yeah.
Watts, enough with the anime. Really?
You buy some
know.
worms.
Look at it.
You start chucking worms. some
Chuck
money.
worms at him. That's right.
Put a worm in the
A lot of
G-string. You know?
tentacles. A worm in the G-string. Oh my god. Could mean so much. Oh. Brian, I think, Brian, you're going to talk about what Luke said about beards and stuff.
Yeah, whatever. I'm down with the worms in a G-string. I'm just picturing that.
The Tower Strip Club. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah,
were you going to talk about that, Brian?
Yeah, he did mention it, that there's a team currently working on, what did he say specifically? Like the facial
Changing
Yeah,
your face.
like
and all that,
reconstructing faces? Yeah.
Basically building character faces and what you're going to be able to do in the future. But I'm getting the feeling that might not come until like Witch Queen.
Yeah, he didn't give a timeline on it, and
But it's happening.
he didn't seem to know much about it. He just knew people were working on it.
Yeah.
That's long overdue, though, man. Like, I hate
sure.
a lot of the like.
But we're still using the
faces
original
that I
Destiny
made.
1 stuff.
Yeah.
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 I mean, you still could have picked some at the beginning of Destiny 2 as well, but like the tools just were about the same. So
Was there anything new in Destiny 2?
No.
No, it's the same exact
I
character.
didn't do it.
creator.
I imported, so I don't know. But yeah, we need new tools. That'd be exciting.
Wilvin said crossovers are fun. Alien versus Predator, G.I. Joe versus Transformers, Marvel versus Capcom. No Terminator versus Predator?
Yeah, man.
The hell?
No Terminator versus RoboCop?
The hell?
Where's your Terminator representation, Wilvin? What's going on here? What's going on? Moving on.
Wait, was that a question?
No, I'm just upset. I'm upset right now.
Upset about the lack of Terminator.
Okay. I thought it was going to
Doughboy-
lead to some like, is there going to be a Destiny crossover with something else? But
Terminator versus
Whatever.
Savathun.
good stuff. Perfect.
No
There
Terminator
you go.
representation in there at all.
Rots, give us the best anime crossover. Go
Oh boy.
with Destiny.
Attack on Titan versus Destiny.
I mean, that would be
So
pretty
torn.
great. That would be pretty good.
I
Because
want the
then you can
swingy
have a
swords,
raid
too.
of Titans. Yeah. Then we could swing around all over the place. That would be pretty amazing.
Okay, we
I
got
do
it.
like that.
Doughboy says, just found out that I share a birthday with the one, the only Peter Dinklage, and that is pretty cool. Pretty cool. Been a Destiny fan since 2014 and never have missed a DCP or PD podcast. No, thank you, Doughboy, and happy
Thank you very
goddamn
much.
birthday.
Yeah.
Happy
birthday.
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 Don't eat Briar Rabbit, please. Thank you, double,
Oh.
Doughboy.
It's
Well,
What if we
What
crash
sauce?
land and Briar happens to
What way
be
do
on
we-
his last leg and we got to eat something? You know.
We're just still deciding the recipe, right? Slow cook,
yeah.
fast grill.
We want to
what
make sure we
sauce.
savor this and that it's
Oh, yeah.
great.
I've been watching
Will there be
Hannibal
pineapple
lately.
on him?
I don't know if you guys seen that show, Hannibal. Just
Uh-uh.
at
That watched it,
Netflix. And it's really it's bringing extra
dark, right?
to this conversation.
Well, let me
Yeah.
tell you,
Can you
I'm.
give some good ideas, some good recipes in there, Briar?
Yeah. Can you
Taking
send
notes.
some ideas over, Briar?
Jesus Christ, that show is dark.
I want some of those. I'm thinking of Briar as a bug snack.
Bug snacks.
Oh, bug snacks.
Bug snacks.
The best.
Briar
I am stylized. Says, hey guys, what do you think of the PS5? Hell yeah, sexier than a fridge.
Speaking of bug
Sexier than a
snacks,
Wi-Fi router.
I dig it. I think it looks cool. I love
Yeah, I
how
think it
it's
looks
so
cool,
dude.
bold.
Yeah.
Some people are going to absolutely hate it, but I like that they were that bold with the choice. We do need a black controller option though.
I think,
and soon.
yeah, there's
Cool to
definitely
look at.
a black version. It looks cool. I'm like,
There's
I
black
think
renders. Is there definitely a black version?
I think there is right?
Controller? You mean?
No, like the console version.
No, I don't think I saw any black.
I saw
version of
Goth
that.
post
Yeah.
one, but maybe Goth got it from somebody who colorized it.
They probably colorized.
Probably.
Yeah, could be.
Probably.
But I think like it looks cool. Like it's got that sci-fi thing going on. I don't know if I'm gonna like looking at it in my office.
But then
I-
don't look at it. Just put it behind a drape or something, hater.
I really don't. I don't care how a console looks in the slightest. I have zero opinion. I'm just like, all
it in
right,
a
cool.
cabinet.
That's how it looks. I'm probably not even going to see it. Great. Awesome.
I like the way consoles look. Like I've always thought they're kind of like iconic designs. The SNES is still an iconic design to me. The Dreamcast with its spoiler in the back, I've always thought is like badass looking. The Xbox 360 with the original Inhale design, I've always loved that white design. And I think this one looks pretty cool. I think it looks super futuristic. It's really wide open to doing like special custom designs, like because it's got those big, wide, flat surfaces. So like the
Yeah.
customizations are endless for it. Black versions are going to look cool. It also looks very cool laying on its side, like most people are going to have it anyway.
Yeah.
I think it actually looks better laying on its side than it does standing straight up.
It did look cool laying on the
Yeah.
side. Yeah.
Yeah.
Although I see in Goth's timeline that somebody put googly eyes on it. It looks like it's like quacking with like cross-eyed googly eyes, and it totally
That's
works.
exactly what I'm doing when I get mine.
Yeah,
pretty
that's
good.
a
But
damn good idea.
Like Watt said, I think ultimately I don't actually care for how it looks in my house or office or whatever. It's more about what it stands for, and that's why I'm so excited. Is that Sony's like pretty bold with a lot of the marketing and the choices, and it's very PlayStation. They know their branding, and it's this alien, super bold, very gaming, for lack of a better way to put it. And Microsoft feels more like just raw power. And it does feel a little PC, and they are a Windows company. And like, I'm not saying that's a bad thing, but I'd rather you can really see what the brand stand for.
Fits with the brand,
this stuff
yeah,
is designed. It was like when Nintendo, released a purple, cube with a
It's
purse
a
handle
toy.
on it. Like,
Yeah.
they're more about toys, and it does say a lot about what's to come. And so that's what has me excited. Freaking white, super modern, attempt.
I
even
really
if,
hope this is a black one.
I think it's the best looking
Just
PlayStation
paint it,
ever
dude.
by a
Get some
long
marker
shot.
and just
Just mark it.
Exactly.
just
Little
scribble.
spray paint. They have also said that they are aware of the loud fans in the PlayStation 4 and the PlayStation 4 Pro, and that they're working to make them much quieter in the PlayStation 5. And you can see
Awesome.
all the room around the edges for cooling. Makes a
Yeah.
lot of sense. So, like, the design looks functional as well.
Yeah.
I am curious to see the back and make sure there's a flat back so I can actually reach over it and see the ports when I'm like, that's actually
Yep.
the most important feature of the PlayStation 5, in my opinion, because the PlayStation 4 has been pissing me off for 7 years.
Right.
Mhm.
Zachary Richard says, "What was your go-to Saturday morning cartoon?"
Man.
Probably Ninja Turtles.
Yeah, that was mine for sure.
Yeah.
That was definitely my favorite.
I watched so
I like
many
Johnny
cartoons.
Quest as well.
Yeah,
X-Men
I'd
was
have
really
to
big
name
for me for a while.
Mm-hmm.
X-Men was probably the one I got most excited about. I used to watch so many.
Doug, Pokemon, Hey Arnold, Recess, Rugrats.
You like Nickelodeon a lot. Nothing wrong with that.
Many.
Colin McPherson says, after a while, I think the artifact system needs some work done to it. Any ideas? I don't
know.
like resetting power level. Like, it seemed like it was an okay idea when they first introduced it. I don't like losing power level. Like, I just don't. I don't like being less powerful than I was at the end of last season.
I personally don't mind the power level reset. I don't mind like the regrind on that.
It gives you something to do.
What I do mind with the artifact is it's unlocking the majority of the same stuff that I had unlocked before. And it's like, well, time to unlock that again. And I don't like that aspect. If it was fresh every time, and I know they'd have to design a lot more systems around that, but I think that's the fatiguing part, is that you kind of end up unlocking the same stuff again each season.
Yeah, I was hoping that because it was going to be like, this was going to be around for 3 months, they would allow them to have that last column be just wacky stuff. That maybe it breaks the game for 3 months and people hate it. Maybe you need to disable it because it breaks it so much, but be able to really step out there and try something crazy because it's just 3 months and it goes away.
Yeah.
But we've had like Oppressive Darkness has returned this season. And I like Oppressive Darkness. It's really great. But I would like them to step out a little bit.
Yeah, you bring up a really good point. We were talking back when the big DLC dropped for October.
Yep.
And we were like, I can't wait to see what crazy stuff happens with the artifact, because Oppressive Darkness was the first one. It was like, whoa, this is crazy. What's gonna be like by the end of the summer, and what kind of crazy things we've seen, and that just didn't happen.
Yeah.
No. Yeah.
Time for Revolution 2020.
Yeah,
just a few.
Sorry, I'm hungry. I still got to stream today.
Time for Revolution 2020 edition says, can you list 3 reasons why warlocks are the master class?
No. Next question.
False. Moving on.
Dreadnought says,
Nice try.
Genie pops out of a lamp and says he will grant a bachelor's degree worth of knowledge to every adult over 21 in your country. You only need to say which bachelor's degree they should receive.
Oh, boy.
Which do you choose? So you can give basically a bachelor degree's worth of knowledge to everybody in the country over the age of 21. Which bachelor's degree do you give them?
What's the most valuable? Probably bachelor's in business off the top of my head. Not a funny answer, but
yeah.
I think I'm going to go with history, man. I feel like people need to get educated on some history. So if everybody had a BA in history, knew exactly what was going on in the past.
Yeah.
Actually, I don't like my answer anymore now. That's like the most like generic, like not that it's not got useful like
law, psychology, sociology, like anything that helps us understand our world better is probably a decent choice.
Yeah, what I was trying to think of, you want something that applies to a lot of different jobs, as opposed to like if you just give everybody, the same thing, then all of a sudden there's no job market for them. And I was thinking about something that you could
you could do like just a bachelor's degree in like Black history and give everybody the instant knowledge of what Black people have been going through for the last 300 years.
There you go.
Bam.
Let's go with that one.
Muttbeard says, would you choose to lose 5 years from your life if it meant that the remaining years were more productive? How much more productive?
The question the question is
it
life
10% more productive or like 700% more productive?
That's what I'm looking for.
But here's the thing.
Like, come on.
Here's the thing. Is your life more worth it if you were more productive specifically?
Yeah.
Yeah. Am I actually enjoying life more because I'm more productive?
Right.
Or am I just like stressed out all the time?
Like after you retire, are you productive when you retire? Because in those retire years, you might want those extra 5 years because I'm not going to be productive when I retire.
Productive at drinking beers and golfing.
Yeah, but that is productive. You can drink more beer and golf more than you would be able to otherwise.
That's going to take the 5 years off right there.
Yeah, you're losing 5 years.
That's another 5 years because I drank too much beer.
Oh, man.
Bathing an Ape says, when have something in your cart at the grocery store. Okay, when you have something in your cart at the grocery store that you no longer want or need, what do you do with it? Be honest. As a grocery store employee, I've seen it all. All right, so you're like, I don't really want it anymore.
I mostly go put it back, honestly, because
I'm not surprised.
Yeah, I don't. Well, it's not that far. I mean, if I'm in line,
It's proximity. That's what it is. Like,
honestly,
exactly.
Yeah, I know.
Proximity.
Yeah.
I mostly put it back though. If I'm in line, I'd probably just buy it actually, because I'd feel like, what are you gonna do? At that point, you got to choose. Like, I'd rather just take it home with me than go all the way back. You know.
If I'm already in
Move your
line,
spot in line.
if I'm already in line, I actually have no problem being like, I'm sorry, I'm not gonna get this, and they set it aside. Like I don't have any issue with that. If I'm walking down the aisle and I'm like, I need to put that back. If I'm close enough, I will definitely go put it back. But if I'm on the other side of the store, it's getting put next to the bread.
I look for a parent that is like letting their child walk around with a grocery cart or like a little basket
put it in there?
pretend they're shopping and just like slip it in there.
That's my new favorite answer.
Sneaky.
Just put it in somebody else's cart. Let them deal with it.
That is a bad idea.
Maybe they want it. Maybe that's
Yeah,
the
maybe
thing they
want
wanted.
little bonus. They get home. They got some kashi, and they didn't even know. Oh, kashi.
I definitely just put it down.
Why does my 3-year-old have
Gluten-free frozen
sake?
burrito.
What is going on?
Oh man.
The Mohican 9 says, I've just returned to work and need to always wear a mask. Do you think superheroes ever forget their masks at home?
No, they're superheroes. Like, that's like the first thing.
Yeah.
Plus, they're just, like,
Spider-Man
better at
into
most
the multiverse. Remember? Like he was kind of dilapidated Spider-Man.
Did he forget his mask?
He forgot a lot of stuff. I don't know if he forgot his mask, but he wasn't the best role model for Miles. Well, he became a good role model, but initially it was like, who the hell is this guy?
I think superheroes, like everybody else, sometimes forget shit. It's okay.
They can have off days.
Well, humanizing.
Yeah, if your work is making you wear a mask, though, they should provide them at work. Like, come on.
Truth.
Brad Martin says you get $1 million tax free, but every time you poop for 1 year, it's live streamed. No matter where you are, it gets streamed. News station cover it all over the world.
Can I make money off of this? Because this just seems like a new business opportunity.
I feel like this is an absolute moneymaker. Like, not only am I
I
going
can
to
bring
get
advertising.
up
merch.
front,
Everyone's
but
going to
I'm
want
going to be
merch.
that poop streaming dude.
I
That's
mean,
true.
but I will be on people's T-shirts and bumper stickers.
The poop
Oh,
millionaire.
The poop millionaire.
This sounds
Wait,
like
how
this
meta
sounds
is that?
great.
While
Brilliant
you're on the
turn, Watts.
shitter, watching me on the shitter.
Yeah, you just get used to it, and yeah, you get tons of fame.
I don't see a downside here.
I like the angle.
2 more questions and we're done. Blandy McBlanderson says, during the Great Plague of London in the 1660s, doctors recommended keeping your farts in a jar and sniffing them if you felt like you were getting sick. I'm no doctor, but I'm not sure this would work. Should I give it a try?
Yes.
Yes.
Do it and then get back to us.
Report back to us.
Let
yeah.
us know.
Yes.
Yeah.
We'll need follow up on this, Blandy.
We want to know.
Let us know.
Also, I'm sorry. Hugo Rune 79 says, would you prefer to have a superpower which allowed you to predict the next day's weather with 75% accuracy, or be able to assess if food is past its use by date was still safe to eat?
The food one.
Definitely
I want that
food.
one.
Yeah.
Definitely the
definitely
food.
the
Who cares
food.
what the weather
Because
is
there's a
tomorrow?
bunch of food that when it's past the date, it's actually still okay. So I
Yeah.
would know what that is.
You'd save so much money and just like
Yeah.
If I had a
eat a
nickel
lot
for every
easier.
time I put my nose in something and said to my wife, here, smell this. Is this still
like
good?
like a jar of farts.
Yeah.
Constantly.
Jar of farts.
Right.
Exactly.
Almost
jar of
as much.
farts
Smelled it?
expired.
I don't feel well.
99.3% as much.
Definitely that.
You know, if that's true, by the way, how come they didn't take the jar of farts to the doctor and say, "Hey, I figured just to get ahead."
You
of
should be smelling my farts,
you,
right?
you're the expert.
Yeah.
Is this-
You're
Smell like
You're
I've
like-
got something.
yeah. Does this smell all right to you?
They also thought bloodletting was like a good procedure to curing stuff.
Yeah, there's been a lot of weird stuff like that of the past.
When I eat Doritos, man, something's different about the smell.
Sounds you-
Time to switch to the Cool Ranch, Briar. You'll be
Doesn't
okay.
smell like my brand.
Oh man. That's
Your
it, right?
brand.
That's it. That's the
That is
questions.
it.
We got through them. Well,
Like,
it
yeah.
was a wild,
Nailed it.
a wild week of stuff in the Destiny world. So I think the future is looking really good for Destiny.
Yeah,
Right?
I'm really excited.
I agree.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was an exciting. It was just exciting to see so far in the future. You know.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah. That was very.
Yeah, I want to see what they
exciting.
do with seasons, obviously, but putting all that in front of us and seeing their commitment and the style of commitment is just super exciting.
Yeah. There's obviously stuff that they have to answer and things that are coming still, but it's looking good. I'm excited about it. So that's the show. Thanks for watching, right? Fran?
Yeah. Thanks, everybody.
Fran, where can people find you?
Right here on Twitch, TV/FM3_. And by the way, people sometimes ask, what is FM3? That's my name, Francis Michael Mirabella III, if it helps you remember. So anyway.
Fancy.
No, that's not gonna help.
No,
Doesn't ring a bell.
people do it. They're like, oh, so some people, they've hopped in and be like, I was trying to find you. I couldn't remember. It's just my initials.
But
There's
what-
only it's FM3. It's not FMM3.
Oh, sorry. I said my middle name. I didn't mean to say that.
Yeah,
But
I was Friend Michael.
really
when I was growing
confusing,
up.
man.
What's the
Now I'm gonna
underscore
really
mean?
look it up.
People are going to
Yeah.
go to Friend Michael now. All right. Fair enough.
What's the
screwed it up.
underscore? Is that part
Yeah,
of
what
the
do you
name?
underscore?
Yeah, where's the underscore come from? Oh, yeah, that was passed down many generations. Many
lines of
Family
underscored
tree.
Fran Mirabellas.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, what I am going to start doing is I'm going to start letting you guys know when DCP is doing their GCX charity marathon.
Oh
block,
hell yeah!
Which is June 19th. We're going to be on from 8 p.m. to 12 a.m. Eastern time. So come show us some love, donate some
That's a
money for a
Friday,
really
right?
good cause.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a Friday. So
I heard-
Friday night with the DCP crew.
I heard Briar was going to
Raising
shave his
money.
beard for $100,000.
Wow. I heard we're all
Man.
playing Trials on PS4 for some amount of
I'll do
money.
it if you do it, Tafty. How about that? How about that?
Maybe. I don't
I'll
know.
commit.
Actually, how about this? If we hit $5, I could possibly delete my Warlock. Just saying. There's a good chance. That might be incentive. $5. Boom. Warlock's deleted. For $1,000, I'll never play on Warlock again. You know? It's going to be tough. Ever.
These are definitely going to show up on there now. So as a
$1,000.
secret,
That's
Warlock
it. That's
man.
definitely in.
he's going to
Is
regret.
it?
He's
You
trying to
think?
pretend like he's not a warlock man. Everybody, like, we're going to put it on there. He's going to be devastated.
That's on the
He's gonna-
list. $1,000. Tafty never plays on Warlock ever again. That's on the list.
Oh, man.
Oops.
Briar, where can people find
Anything
you?
else with that, Watts? Oh,
Oh, yeah.
You
Sorry,
can
Watts.
find
Did
me
you
trying to
finish?
Figure out.
No, I think that's it. We should talk about our incentives maybe next week because that will be the day before. So we'll
Okay.
announce what our incentives are or something. Yeah. Briar's thinking
I'm
of
Briar
this.
Rabbit. You can find me trying to figure out why my PS Vita doesn't charge, even though I bought a new charging cable for it. Or I don't know what else I've been doing, but talk to me on Twitter.
He's been looking
@BriarRabbit.
for a retro microphone.
That's right, a retro microphone. I want to sound like a 20s broadcaster. Yeah.
And I'm Tefty Teft. You can talk to me at Teft on Twitter, and I'll be pining for the moment that I'll get to hold the button down and deleting that Warlock. So delicious. Can't wait. Cannot wait. Thanks for watching, guys. Really appreciate it. Shout out to all of our subs on Twitch and also our Patreon members. You guys make the show happen, so really appreciate that. And shout out to everyone watching live and also on YouTube and the various podcast places. We'll see you next week for another show. Hopefully more exciting news. Yeah, good stuff coming around. Also, the side quest on Mondays, 1 p.m. Pacific, we are going to deep dive into the PS5 reveal stream / all those games that were announced.
Wait, when's that?
1 p.m. Pacific, Monday?
No, the PS5 reveal.
That just happened?
Wait, what?
You mean this?
get some
thing?
bug snacks, dude. Get this man some bug
The bug snacks?
Briar is the bug.
Briar, you're
snack.
confusing me, man. I don't know if you're serious. So yeah, that's the show. See you Monday and also next Wednesday. All right, Thursday. See, that's what Briar
And
did.
Friday.
And Friday.
Monday,
Friday.
Thursday, Friday. It is the DCP week of DCPs.
And Friday,
But not
yes.
Sunday.
Not
Sunday's
Sunday.
me time. Me time.
Yeah, just remember, Bug Snacks is the greatest thing ever. It's game of the year. Bye-bye. Bye, everyone.
But
Bugsnack.
Bye, everyone.